Are you excited for some very intense, very high octane, super energy, awesome arms action?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We have some of the top level players in North America with us today, and these should really make for some really high level bouts.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really intense, really exciting. I can't wait to see how everybody fares against each other. Things are all set, we're just about ready to go. And it looks like we do have Pine, which means we're actually, yeah, we could pretty much start right on the moment, so we are doing well. Who do you think's gonna take this?
I don't usually like to pick sides, but I think Pine probably has this matchup.
No, I'm talking
Pine,
about the
he doesn't-
tournaments. I'm talking tournament as a
Oh.
whole.
Oh, that's actually kind of hard to say. I mean, Astro tends to have a really, really clean record when it comes to tournament wins, but I could see a couple of other players this could go for. So honestly, I can't really say for sure, but if I were to be a betting man, I would say Astro.
Yeah, if anybody's putting their money anywhere, it's probably Astro. He's the one to beat. Of course, we do have our second seed here with us, and he is no slouch either. If anybody's going to be taking him down, it's going to be him. That player is Pineapplefreak. Definitely, by far, the best Kid Cobra in North America. You don't see him too often in a lot of streamed events. He usually stays quiet and focused on the bi-weekly procrastinations, but when he's in those, he is undefeated. There is
he is
nobody
a monster.
who's able to take him down.
I was actually just doing some friendlies with him the other day for like about a half hour straight, and my gosh, he wiped the floor with me. Pine is such a good player, and he's a really good guy too.
Oh yeah, generally a sweet guy. Adam Brain also really cool. Both of them generally just fabulous people, but niceness isn't gonna be really doing you much service here. As we are in a tournament match, these players will be fighting for $250 prize pool. If you want to see that prize pool get a little bit bigger, here's a link in chat that you can go ahead, follow, contribute a little bit of money, and help give these players a little bit more to fight for. That said, enough about that. Let's dive in as we begin the first of our matches. Pineapple going to be going in clapback popper. Two very classic arms for him. Two very classic arms these days for Kid Cobra, as they are by and far the most meta-defining for what Kid Cobra really does. It just showcases how he plays, how he moves so exceptionally, and takes advantage of that high grip to boot. And then, of course, Adam Brain making some excellent choices with his arms as well, going in with the Chilla, going in with the Cooler Rain. Quintel is definitely the best character to go with if you're looking for ice chains. You can tell that's what Adam has on in mind. He's got these two ice arms. Any charge hit can lead into a confirm, into a combo. He just lines up the shots.
Nice rush evasion from Pineapple there. Gets clipped right at the end. But that's going to leave him still with a slight health advantage. Well, when I say that, now Adam has the health advantage, but Pine has Rush on deck, looking for an opportunity to use it, and he's going to let it go. He's going to get some nice chip damage there. Shield almost broken.
And it is going to break down. Adam still holding in light leads. Got that rush ready now, looking for his own counterplay. And it's going to be a safe connection if he lands it. We do get that 95 damage, and this first round is looking to go to him. Adam Brain starting off with a very, very solid first point. Just getting that one final catch. Utilizing that Actress Sword to slow down. Sees that grab coming just kilometers away. Punishes it easily. Diving right into our next round. Neither player changing their loadout. These are just good tools that can really lead into some excellent plays, just like that confirmed. As that clapback likes that chiller right back into Adam's face and leads into an easy grab follow-up. Pineapple finding a solid rush here. This round very much more in his favor, so much more in his control.
Now that all of the pillars are broken, this could lead to an advantage for Pine, since he doesn't have to maneuver around all of them now.
Yeah, those tubes might have been getting a little more in his way than he would have liked. In some cases, it can help obstruct your opponent's approach, especially if they're trying to face off against a pillar and a clapback. But it also means that those huge sweeping movements that he's making can just get halted dead stop because of those pillars. Nice chain from Adam, gonna bring things back. He is low on health and cannot survive this rush. Pineapple gonna be able to balance the score to 1 apiece on this first round. Diving right into our next bout. Both players sticking with their loadouts yet again. They know what they're looking for. These are probably some of their best toolkits and the most well-rounded in trying to just see what their opponent is going for and what they might need to do to respond to it.
Pine keeps on getting those popper pokes in, slowly chipping away at Adam's health. Both players with Rush on deck now. Adam finally beginning to get some hits on Pine. Nice rush from Pineapple there, getting a solid 305 damage, putting Adam into critical. All it takes is one more hit, but Adam has Rush on deck for himself. But he's going to have to play it really safe if he intends to make that comeback, which he does.
He does
and the
not
uncharged
have
popper
the
poke,
chance.
going to get it at the very end.
And with that, I'm going to be able to claim the first point, setting himself up at match advantage. Really nice first round from Adam Brain, but unfortunately, once those pillars went away, like you said, Pine just had a lot more ground, a lot more space, a lot more neutral grounds to work with, and he just really took advantage of it.
So I'm guessing Pine's going to want to go to a more open stage. Because of that, I am not sure, but I know Kid Cobra tends to like more open area.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't like places like Buster Beach, definitely places like Villa Dolce. Those can just narrow out your movement, limit your options, and just pin you down into the ground, preventing you from really getting anywhere. And those are going to be the stages that he bans as well, so definitely good calls. Nice choice of plays there. And it does lead up a little bit more of a close range one. This could work out pretty well for Adam, but it's also going to be a little scary for him too. We're going to be diving into sparring ring for our next bout. Stepping into the ring, Pine following in suit. Reminder that these are all best of 5 matches. It means that Pineapple's got that first point, but he's still got to take 2 more from Adam in order to claim this end advance. And do we see a Guardian on the field here? We do!
Ooh!
So normally this would be an interesting pick that might lead to more something that might not work out. Guardian usually struggles in a lot more matchups than, say, the clapback or a lot of arms in general. But it's actually, I can see it being a really solid pick here, just on the basis that the Guardian is really good at pushing back against the clapback, being one of the few arms in this game that cannot get reflected by it. And actually, while it's active, can just nudge the clapback out of the way, allowing you to position it in better positions for yourself to fight. So we have to see Adam Brain capitalize on that opportunity, and Pine just really doing a solid job of making sure he doesn't have that chance. As this pressure just coming in, constantly just waiting things out, bringing out the shield as soon as he sees that Guardian, keeping up this pressure and pace, and Adam just not able to respond at all. This is looking nigh perfect. He is finally going to be able to take a couple of hits off of Pine. We've got that 25% out of the way, but he's He's 1 to 2 hits away from getting knocked down. There's not much left to work with here. And Pine is aware of that as he's just playing a patient game, playing it safe. Nice use of the rush to deflect the Guardian, and he'll take the first round.
He probably could have done it without using the rush, but I know he just wanted to play it safe and just get it over with already because that Guardian was just getting in his way.
Yeah, that Guardian could have led into some manner of a knockdown, some setup or confirm. Just getting put into a bad position too could easily lead into Adam just starting to snowball it back in his favor. Like we can see right here, that freeze was really scary, but the clapback definitely coming in, protecting him nice and safely, giving him that secure space to get out of that freeze again. And Adam just not really sure how to respond to this arm anymore, as Pine is just catching him out time and time again. Heavy 375 rush will dip Adam below half. He's starting to run out of options here. From Pine, allowing him just to do his best to deftly dodge out of the way. We do have a rush finally coming in from Adam Brain. It won't be enough to kill, but if he just gets one more hit on top of this, it would have gave him a chance. Pineapple, though, just dancing around.
That Ram just catching him right at the end.
That clapback has just been protecting Pine from so many of these exchanges, giving him just that little bit of room to get one of those big jumps, one of those sweeping motions to safely get out of the way. Adam Brain felt forced back against the wall. Few options remained. He's going to end up taking that loss yet again. Pine now holding on to a 2-0 advantage. Starting off very strong for Pineapple here.
Let's go, Phil. I hope you win.
Thank you, Jelly. Thank you, Jelly, for that.
Oh shoot, it just disconnected me from the lobby. I'm not sure what happened there. Let me rejoin real quick.
Alright, and it looks like we're going to be sticking with sparring. I'll hold this for you to get back in.
Okay, here, let me find the code again. Here it is.
Yes, it is that code. But not the code.
Okay.
It is clever code. Code that not everybody else can instantly guess.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay.
There we go. Pineapple being a very patient and generous man, waiting just to make sure that you were in the lobby to watch as well. He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
He is. Alright, looks like we're going back to sparring ring. Adam bringing out the Scully.
If he can find a way around the clapback, that Scully will be so scary. But if Pine's just keeping up pace, keeping up tempo, it looks like we're actually going to see that clapback go away in recognition of that Scully. Might mean that he has a little bit easier time powering through because of his two medium weight arms. But this could also lead into that Scully being a little more efficient alongside that Chilla, as long as Adam is just patiently dodging out of the way of these arms. I'd actually say this is probably more in Adam's favor. He just has to find his way through, and there's just so much coverage. You can see he's constantly just having to dash back and forth, just making sure that he is not in the harm's way of those Ramrams. Because those things hit hard, they deal a lot of damage.
And that big rush coming out almost instantly.
They cover so much ground in Rush.
They do.
Nice punish!
Adam going for the rush, going to get knocked out of it, putting him into critical. One more hit will take it for Pine.
And yeah, this is definitely just lost ground for Adam. Once Pine got that rush out, immediately lost all tempo. Pine got one or two more good reads. And now we're on match point for these two. If Pineapple can take him out one more time, he'll be advancing with a clean 3-0 sweep against Adam. Got the rush ready, trying to charge in. Here it comes. had him not ready to bring out the shield yet, maybe leaning a little too into that actress aura, just didn't slow things down enough for him to see what was coming for him. And that's going to be a heavy amount of pain being dished to his face. Oh, he had the confirm, but hesitated, was uncertain that it actually was true. And I'm going to be able to safely block because of that. Just that sneaky snake movement just being a little too slithery for him. It caused him to hesitate, giving the Pine a very safe block. And now, again, this is a very advantaged position for Pineapple.
Pine letting out the rush, going to get the shield break, putting Adam into critical. Adam with a rush of his own, ready to go. He's looking to move into do it. Getting 195, not being able to let it all connect.
Yeah, a little difficulty lining up those shots. But he did manage to get some good damage, but without that full rush and without enough pressure to go follow up, that is just not going to be enough. And we're going to have Pineapple walking away 3-0. Joining me at mic right now is Mario119 from the NA community as well, a good friend of mine, a Springman main. Very cool person.
Hi, Riffa.
Alright. And looks like with that does mean that Pineapple's going to be advancing. He'll be awaiting ahead in the bracket, which means we can move on and get set up with Twin 5-0 and SlosherWailord. There we go. Now, we actually have this one all set and ready as well. These two have done their stage striking. They've made their decisions. So we can just dive right into another very exciting, another very intense battle. This is actually one that I've seen Twins struggle with a little bit before. Especially if Slosh can get in close with this Master Mummy. Or if he just finds a way to outwit Twin with his Lillipop, it can be a little dicey. That also said, overall, if I'm not mistaken, this is generally in Twin's favor, but anything is possible, and we might be seeing some surprise and turnabouts if he's just not fully prepared.
Indeed. This should be a really probably even fight. I would say maybe a bit more in Twin's favor, but it could easily go anyway.
There's only one way to see how that really will turn about. And that is with a good old-fashioned brawling match. Once Twin is in here, we are set to go and can begin the next of our bouts for this Invitational. Just a heads up for everybody.
And we're going to see the Lola Ditto.
Just a heads up for everybody, we will not be seeing all the matches in this tournament, unfortunately, just due to scheduling issues and time constraints. But we'll be covering what we can, as much as we can, and giving as much quality content. And these two are looking to give some quality content themselves, as we are going in with the full mirror, the only difference being that Fire Dragon versus the Ice Dragon. The big difference here...
The question... Yeah, go on, I'm sorry.
The big difference here is just... While Slosh is going to get a little bit more consistent damage out of that Fire Dragon, his rush is going to be a little bit heavier. But if he's not... It means that he doesn't have the capability of doing these ice chains that Twin is just showed off for us. And set Slosh to be at critical and allowed him to take that first point. Sorry, you were going to say?
I was going to say, which dragon is normally considered better, but I've always heard the Ice Dragon is usually a more competitive arm because of the ice chains you can pull off, like Twin just did. But I'm not sure what the general consensus is.
So general consent, it kind of falls into line with a lot of the... in certain cases, one leans a little more into the other, like Phoenix versus Thunderbird probably leans a little bit more into the Phoenix's favor. This one, it leans more into the Ice Dragon's favor. But generally, the two are playing at that odds and evens where one is the safe, steady arm, the safe, steady option, and then the other one is the one that's set up for confirms. Where Boomerang versus Coolerang. Coolerang is more of the confirms, where Boomerang is much more designed to be steady. That said, both of them can have their own confirms. Thunderbird and Phoenix, one's the fire, one's the shock. The shock one's a little bit harder to land, but you get those grab confirms. And then here, that Ice Dragon is going to blend into Ice Chains, where the Fire Dragon has those fire charged hits, which can be really powerful. And if the Fire Dragon does come out slightly more quickly. But those Ice Chains are just so rewarding. And excellent plays from Slosh, utilizing that Fire Dragon alongside with a Tri-Blast to be able to take Twin out. And the score for this first set is now 1 apiece. Twin considering his options, thinking about what he's looking to do here, taking all his time possible to plan this out. Looks like he's going to be sticking with his loadouts. But this Tri-Blast Fire Dragon is just giving him a serious hard time, as it's doing a really solid job of just catching out Twin's horizontal movements, where the Biffler is really good at those vertical. Slosh isn't necessarily moving around vertically too much. It's a lot more to the left, to the right. Very similar to what Twin is doing himself, which means that it's working better for catches, it's working better for confirms. And it's just leading into a much more confident game for Slosh.
They both tend to be pretty grounded Lolos, so yeah, I do think the Tri-Blast is going to help him here, and indeed it does, giving Slosh a pretty commanding victory in round 3 there.
Indeed, Slosh now holding on to the advantage point against Twin. Twin will be playing at the back heel unless he can find a clean 2-0 swap. And that is concerning news. It sounds like there might be a tornado on the way for Slosh's area. He might have to drop out as a result.
Ooh.
If that happens, Twin will be advancing in bracket and Slosh would be disqualified, which would be very unfortunate, but I mean, can't really prepare for a tornado.
Yeah. Weather can be really unpredictable like that.
Indeed. Update on the other ends of brackets. Luna getting taken out by Astro 3-0 and is now awaiting his opponent from this bout. And Para and Steel still locked into their battle. Just looking at how things are going there. Seems like Para is advantaged against Steel right now, but it's hard for me to say specifically as I'm not watching those bouts. And we're going to be heading to our next stage, which it looks like Buster Beach is the destination. I mean, it's probably not too far away from its own set of hurricanes and natural disasters out there. Especially when you've got Twin stepping into this ring. He is his own kind of hurricane. Just, especially on this stage. If any stage has really given him his name, it's this one.
Yeah, Twin really tends to like Buster Beach from what I've noticed.
A lot of it is just because he's faced off against so many people who have decided to take him here. So many people have been like, oh, out of the stages that you've given me, this is the one that seems most likely to work against you. So he's kind of just been forced to play this stage time and time again. To the point where he just knows this stage now. And he probably knows it then better than most people.
so far, Twin is making it pretty difficult for Slosh to approach, keeping him back in the Hot Pocket. Going to do a blind into rush combo for a clean 345 damage, putting Slosh into critical.
That is a nice advantage, and we are seeing some of that magic right here that I was just talking about. Is Twin going to be able to take this round with a 75% health lead? Slosh just could not keep up here, as there's just so much. Twin just knows the stage. He knows what he's doing, and he's punishing Slosh for a lot of the weaknesses Lola can have here. All the while safely playing around all of those weaknesses himself. We do see that Hot Pocket set up. He is going to get caught out. Does find his way out of the way, but he's going to take some heavy damage out of it. Does have that space. He has that high ground. An excellent bait and call out there. Slosh desperately trying to dive out of the way. And it's going to get caught by the full brunt of that rush as a result. This is now in Twin's favor. This is Twin's control, as he's looking to just get a little bit more damage to take Slosh out and claim the second point. Nice freeze, looking to try to bait something out once more, but it's going to be a safe block from Slosh, recognizing that that Ice Dragon was set up right above him.
Slosh going for that grab read, but unfortunately going to miss it. One hit is all it's going to take for KO. Slosh going for the rush, which was a last-ditch effort on his part, and it's going to get caught off by the Biffler.
Twin balancing out the score, one apiece, finding its way through, and is going to be set up with nice advantage. Or balancing it out, it's still essentially in Slosh's favor, but as this is a Lollipop mirror match, it can still really go either way. It just depends on what these two players pick themselves, where they want to go, and how they want to go about things that can really determine what's about to happen.
Are we going to see any switches? I don't know. Slosh could go for his mummy, but he did do pretty well in game 1, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
I think the mummy will work better in this. Master Mummy might work better in the stages that are more favored for Twin, but if Slosh is picking stages that work better for himself, Lollipop's probably going to be a solid choice to keep rolling in with. And we are going to see that Lollipop sticking as we dive into DNA Lab. Both players continuing to stick with these loadouts. Slosh had some really good results off of that first set with that Tri-Blast with that Fire Dragon. It's no wonder he doesn't want to move off of it now, where it's just like Twin's starting to figure it out, but Slosh definitely has a vibe, has the idea that he might be able to get something rolling here. A lot of it might have been just the way Temple Grounds is designed, lends that Tri-Blast to be a little bit better at catching those slightly more vertical movements. Where you're seeing here, Twin is having a little bit easier time jumping over a lot of these Tri-Blasts and punishing them out otherwise.
Slosh going to get that grab though. Indeed. Both players with rush on deck, ready for them.
Nice rush!
To immediately go for his, getting a nice 380 damage, giving him the health lead.
Does have to be careful though, because now that he's expended that rush, he has to respect Twin 5-0's rush, and that can lead into easy grabs, easy confirms. Can also lead into a nice punish for himself though if Twin is just trying too hard to set things up. He gets some good damage, balances things out. Is just looking for a little bit more work to take Twin down. Any damage would snipe him out, and it's going to be the Tri-Blast doing its work once again.
Both players starting out with rush available. Twin going to catch Slosh with that uncharged Biffler, giving him the health advantage right now. But Slosh going to get in a grab of his own. Both players have pretty even health right now. Slosh with slight lead. Well, when I say that now, they're both dead even.
It really does not take much for it to change. Look at this trade!
That trade!
Both dragons just walling out the light arms, staring each other out, and just blazing through each other. Nice chain coming in from Twin, trying to get a little bit more, but Slosh is not having it. He safely blocks it off, keeping this game rolling. Oh, nice call there, but he just could not get that grab to cover enough ground, and Slosh gonna bounce right over. A nice response though as that grab gets whiffed by Slosh. Twin will be able to assert the health lead off of that misplay. Out comes the rush, he's pinned against the wall, there's nowhere to go. 315 damage, has to respect Twin's rush at this point. Desperately looking for one more hit. If he gets one solid call out on Twin, that would have been his. But Twin will be able to find the rush, will be able to keep this going 1-1. These two continuing to take this battle to see who will be taking the advantage position. Starting things off, the charged Ice Dragon. You don't get to see any ice change when your opponent is suspended in the air, as it leads into a guaranteed knockdown. Any hit in the air, unless you have armor, just knocks you down. It could be a shock, it could be a fire hit, it could be an explosion, it could be wind. You get knocked down. Well, wind is an exception where your knockdown is like blown into the air, but it's still a knockdown.
Twin doing an exceptional job here. The Slosh going to get in that rush, finally knocking down some of Twin's health. But right now, Twin, all he has to get is one more hit on Slosh, and Slosh is going to have to play very carefully. But the Biffler is going to take it.
Biffler will leave its mark.
At advantage.
Indeed, and now Twin looking at the advantage. And we're going to be heading back to Temple Ground, Slosh taking us to what worked for him before. I don't think this is a bad call. I don't think this is a bad decision. This could work. It might be a little difficult, especially now that Twin is so much more warmed up, more amped up, and fully aware of what he's looking for to try to counter out Slosh. But, I mean, it's still the Tri-Blast. It's still the wide coverage on a stage that has so much vertical angle. So you can really effectively line up these shots. I think actually, with the way the Tri-Blast works, it's better for Slosh to be on the low ground tier. I believe it also makes it easier for him to dodge these Bifflers, so starting off with good stage positioning, good preference, but Twin starting off with the health advantage and just quickly trying to burn through Slosh's life meter.
Both players already list rush on deck. Twin going to get that blind into freeze.
Just keeping up this pace, keeping up this pressure, making a nice call like that, but Twin not ready for the response as Slosh successfully grabs him out, safely blocks that rush as well, and now he's looking to get his rush to come in. If he makes it connect, this will balance out that health difference, but he's got to find his way in, and Twin is just surprising every one of his dashes, calling them out. And now we are on match point. Slosh now looking for Slosh looking to have to make 2 wins to be able to turn this all back off of that first point. It worked out so well for him, but he's just losing so much more ground now as Twin is just calling out these plays, punishing him out time and time again, and getting these reads that Twin is just so well known for. Once he gets
Slosh
in your
getting
head,
that ice chain grab.
Yeah, once he gets into your head, there's just nothing you can do. As Slosh is just getting destroyed right now. Twin just knows his every move, his every play here. And just one final hit is all he's looking for. Slosh is not out yet. Trying to stay alive, set something up. Oh, nice deflect there. He's not going to be able to get any rush damage, but it does keep him swinging just a little bit longer. That time could lead into something, but it's not going to. As Twin will be walking away 3-1 against Slosh. Some excellent plays from both players, just some really exciting bouts. Nice calls and choices going through, but unfortunately Slush just could not keep up in the end. And he's getting knocked down.
Great stuff from both players though.
And he's gonna call it here too because of that storm.
Oh, that's a shame.
On the bright side, he still has his fellow Lollapop mate player Twin50 to step in and help him out. So he's got somebody to cheer on for still.
Alright. It looks like... Who are we getting next?
We've got Pineapple.
I see Para in here.
We've got Para coming in.
Ooh.
And yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. Para being very well known these days for being one of the Titans capable of taking down the best of the olden day Titans of ARMS. And Pineapple, definitely no slouch either. These two players are definitely the top of their class when it comes to this game.
Yeah, these players are some of the absolute best our region has to offer. So it really should be some close games.
Indeed. So we're just looking for the stage bans from these players. We'll probably be diving in right in just a few moments. Just a reminder for everybody, we do have a bunch of beautiful sponsors, a handful of fabulous people supporting this channel, just like IluZ, who donated $50 to this prize pot. If you want to also help out in making sure that these players have something to fight for, I'm going to drop the link in chat. You should also check them out. The link is on the screen, or was on the screen. And we'll do a little bit more of a thorough look at some of these people who have put so much time, so much energy and effort into helping out this scene, out this community, just a little bit. Right now, though, we do have this match stepping up. Pineapple versus Para, then Jara versus Kid Cobra. And we're seeing a pretty similar loadout from Adam Brain coming in here. We do have some pretty heavy elemental differences alongside that character pick, but in a lot of cases it's still pretty similar. Roaster instead of Chilla, Boomerang instead of Coolerang. We'll see how these arms play out and respond to this matchup. You can see Para already recognizing these tubes maybe aren't going to be lending him too much of an advantage or too much control, as he's already taken some choice to damage one of those center field tubes out, looking to take out some more to give himself a bit more neutral space, a little more room for these pokes and punishes, especially with Pine holding onto the health lead.
Both players with Rush ready to go. Pine with a good health advantage right now, but both players going to activate Rush, but that clapback is just going to cancel out Para's Rush, giving Pine a great 300 damage, putting him with a significant health lead at the moment, but this could still be anyone's game.
Still can, but it's looking to be very hard for Para to keep up right now, as he's just trying to find some kind of ground, some kind of chance to punish Pineapple, but he's just getting punished. He's getting caught out in a lot of these cases, and trades are more often going in Pine's favor, as he's just looking for a couple more hits to take Para out. And he's gonna just see this confirm and go straight in for it.
Not taking any chances there.
Yeah, there is. That's just a good call. That was a safe option. Definitely might put him at a bit more of a risk moving forward, as now Para has that rush ready. He doesn't have to worry about Pine just walling him out with the clapback. And we are going to see that work out to his tune. 355 damage starts him off with the lead. This definitely going to lend itself a lot more, because now it's Para who gets to play the responsive game. These two players so well designed for being the one to respond. It's really difficult to play against a player that just knows how to properly respond to your options, catch you out for your mistakes. So in a lot of these matches, you'll see, especially players like Para, players like Pineapple, you'll see whoever gets the lead usually is going to be able to hold some good control. That also said, having a good loadout like the clapback and popper can definitely help give yourself a little more room to work with. Para trying to set ground back in his advantage, hold onto that rush, because that will just be so much advantage going forwards. But he feels the need to throw it out, but Pineapple is just smothering him down right now. And that was just not the time for that rush. Pine reclaiming control. Para just looking for one solid hit to take Pine out, but Pine is not far away, and he's getting his rush ready. Para ready with a rush of his own in just a few moments. Oh, but that clapback will chase Ninjara's teleport. Perfectly executed and timed, and it does mean that Pineapple's going to be starting off with the match advantage. That just worked out so well for Pine. Nice timing too, calling out that teleport, utilizing the clapback just to chase him in at that exact moment. As Ninjara loses he's not consistently invulnerable while he's got his shield out like a lot of other characters, where he has that teleport, you can't hit him, and then there's about 5 frames where you can hit him, and then the shield comes back and it's active once again for another teleport. And that clapback was just there during those few moments of vulnerability.
Alright, both Para sticking with Ninjara, which I do think is a pretty good call. Both players going to Mausoleum. And it looks like they're sticking out with their same loadout too. But this is a much more offensive stage. So this could work out, perhaps in Para's favor.
It could potentially. Yeah, having this room, just having a much more rounded space should help him in making sure that he doesn't get caught out by a lot of Pineapple's pressure and pins. That said, the Ramram's really good at catching him out regardless. Starting things off, Para is definitely making things work well for himself. He's holding that health lead. He's trying to keep this space in tempo. He's trying to just keep Pineapple just far enough away that he can dodge out. He can set himself up good shots around that clapback, get that boomerang to come in fast, and just have the room to dodge out of things.
But Pine going to land that grab point blank. Both players with rush ready to go. Pine making the approach, coming in, that clapback is just going to confirm it, getting a solid 385 damage, giving Pine the health advantage. But Para still has that rush. Pine has got to respect that. As you can see, he's playing a bit more safe now, backing up.
Keeping a lot more space, just trying to not get caught out, but that clapback is going to leave a nice opening for Para. He just leaps right over it. He's got that health lead now. He's looking to try to keep things rolling, but a grab was all Pine needs. And with that timer ticking down, there's not going to be enough of a chance for Para to do anything, especially with him air dashing out of the way. That first point is going to go to Pine once again. And Para now at a very harsh backfield needs to start getting some tempo going before Pine just starts stomping him out, especially now that we've got that popper back in, and a quick confirm of some heavy damage starts this round off in Pineapple's favor. Out comes this rush into perfect timing with that Ninjara teleports. sets Para up. He's got that little bit of a lead, but Pineapple gonna be able to popper him down. Quickly just burning him out with each and every little poke. No knockdowns needed, because you're just getting the damage either way. And now this is Pineapple's to take. He just needs one good rush confirm. That clapback could easily just chase Para out.
Both players going to go for the rush, but the clapback just going to cancel that out. Just getting right in his face. And that is going to give Pine the lead.
Second point. He's just deepening that lead ever so much here. And that was just a checkmate position right at that moment where it's like he had that rush ready. Pine knew Para wanted to use it, and he's like, but my rush just wins, so I'll just throw mine out, and if you don't anticipate this and have some kind of counterplay, you're not gonna win. And in most cases, at least what we saw in DNA Lab, there is the chance where Pine could have just taken it with the timing as well, which, yeah, that left Para in a really bad place where it literally boils down to he might not have been able to even make the right call at that point, as there might not have been a right call. Just hope that his opponent times things off just enough so that he would have had that room. But yeah, he's not going to be able to walk away with that one. And instead, he's going to be switching over to Mechanica.
I didn't know he had them. Well, I guess he has everyone. Para plays everyone. But
Yes.
This should be interesting with the super armor and all. Going for a nade shotgun combo.
Solid combination. It's a solid setup of tools. And while in a lot of cases, players tend to have a light and heavy loadout combination, Ram works well enough in this case, especially with the clapback. And having the popper alongside means that Pine doesn't really have to worry about his opponent just chewing through these punches and forcing him to have to play with a different loadout. He's just got the tools he's looking for. He's just looking to make them work. Starting things off in this first round, he is doing just that as he quickly knocks Para into critical health. He's still got a huge meter to work with as well, but it's gonna get knocked down just a nudge as Para lands 310 damage on the rush. Trying to leap over, trying to make some kind of counterplay going here, but Mechanica's jump just not high enough unless he finds his way directly over that clapback. It's still big enough, it's still prominent enough that he ends up reflecting a chakram into his own face, weakening himself a little bit more. Trying to generate that rush right now, trying to play safe enough and get that meter going, because that is probably going to be his biggest chance. But Pine sees this coming, knows what he was going for, and he's just going to go for the rush to take him down.
Not going to take any chances there.
Just going to say from my own experience in this matchup, Pineapple's a very difficult opponent to take down with Mechanica. You really have to be on top of your game, and you do need to go in with some solid counterplays to really make things work out. Double name might be the answer, but he's going to have to find around that clapback, because that thing will safely and easily deflect all, like 6 punches right there. Just so many punches that he just could not get into Pine's face because that clapback was just right there, continuing to wall him out. Nice response, nice timing with the rush, gets 220 damage. Para holding on to a nice lead here, he's keeping up this pressure, he's keeping up this pace. Gonna get caught by this rush, there's nothing he could do left to suspend in the air. Still holding on to that lead, but Pine can easily, and definitely can, just start burning through to that meter. Now that they're at close range, the clapback is so much easier to get those reflects back into Para's face. We do see some damage coming in as a result.
Para going in for that grab there, going to get blocked, but he now has rush ready. But Pineapple going to get that grab. Both players in critical health now.
Oh,
that counter grab!
Pine knew exactly what Ara was looking for in both of those exchanges. Just like, you're gonna try, you want me to think that you're gonna go for rush, so I'm just gonna grab you here. And then he's like, and now you're gonna rush, so I'm gonna bait you into it, and I'm just gonna jump right out of the way. And Pineapple with a clean leap and safe punish will be walking away with a 3-0 on Para, knocking him into the comeback bracket to face off against Lunagabs. And will bring us to our next bout against of Astro versus Twin. Just going in from heavy match to heavy match, like we're just no breathing room. It's just like heavy hitter after heavy hitter.
Yeah, these are amazing.
Update on the lower side of bracket. Steelhead successful in taking Atom Brain out 3-0. And we'll be awaiting whoever gets knocked down here, be it Astro or Twin. That is not going to be a fight he's going to be looking forward for. I would be surprised if he was looking forward to either of these players. Twin's just demonstrated time and time again that he knows what he's doing when he's playing against Brass. He knows how to punish him. I do know that Steel has his own counterplays, a couple of nice picks and tools to roll with, but it's going to be a tough battle for him to take Twin down. And then Astro is just like a whole nother beast. Like, yeah, he's not having a fun time either way.
Yeah. Alright. So we got the battle of the Illusion crew right here.
Yep, we've got ourselves...
The Illusion Wizard.
We've got ourselves a bit of a... It's not a true team kill, not yet, not yet. Because whoever gets knocked down will still be alive, but the team is slapping itself in the face. Which is bound to happen in a tournament, especially of this caliber, of this size. There's not much room for players to safely avoid unless everything's like perfectly calculated and players do exactly as planned out. Yeah, otherwise, you're gonna see them dance against each other. Twin ready up. Just waiting on Astro. And then we'll be set to begin. And we dive in Lollipop versus Dr. Coil. We've seen this before. We've seen these two fight against each other numerous times in the past. Up to the point where Twins brought out Dr. Coil to try to outsmart Astro to no success. This is a matchup that he still struggles with this to this day. We've seen him make some really good plays, but overall Astro's usually a step or two ahead. So this is not an easy match for him to do, but that said, it's still Twin 5-0. He's one of the smartest players in this community, one of the best at adapting and responding, and he does start off with the health lead, these tubes to help give him a little bit of space, to try to create some room, give him that little bit of a chance to hold the lead.
But that grab from Astro, twisting around the tubes, going to put him at health advantage. Both players rush ready to go. Astro going to let it out, landing it, and getting a solid 275 off of it.
Oh, nice setup, but it's gonna get blown down. One of the dangerous things about explosions, you can utilize that rush deflect all you want. You can block any explosion any time of the day, but that blast is still there, and if you do not time things properly, you do not position yourself correctly, that explosion will blow you out of your rush and take your game plan away. Nice grab from Astro now. So much more in control, so much more in his field. He's just looking for one or two more good hits to really take Twin out. And with 8 seconds left on the clock, I don't think Twin really has anything he can do to turn this back. Desperately trying to play this field. Astro just barely dodging out of the way of that grab. And we'll be taking the first points.
Twin switching to double glove, double toaster, to be more specific, trying to box out Astro's loadout there. Ooh, getting caught on that DNA tube and going to get counter grabbed and punished. Astro with Rush ready to go, which Twin is having to respect right now, trying to build up Rush of his own. But Astro just making it so hard to approach.
Indeed. Just constantly walling him out with these bobs and nades. Just those explosions are there. Heavy big gloves are just coming in fast, and it's just Twin just struggling to keep up. The toasters do lend themselves to a little bit more mobility, a little bit more options to fight, but this is still Quill we're talking about. We're still talking about a character, especially when you give them that much range, that much space. It's so easy for Astro just to slide out of the way, basically unscathed by that rush. Dr. Coil's just one of those characters you really have to know your options. You have to know what tools you have available and how they work. Nice catching off of those nades can help out a little bit. Just every little piece of the puzzle that you throw in can make the difference. But when
Twin going for that grab, going to get punished and rushed. Rush on deck for Twin. Going to land it, but not going to quite get Astro in critical, and that... Oh no, he gets him in critical, but it is too late right there.
Even off of that impeccable comeback play, it's just not going to be enough. Astro will be taking this first point and setting up with advantage. And it looks like we're going to be heading to Sparring Ring next. Definitely one of the better stages that you could take Coil. Like, while Twin works really well at long range, so does Dr. Coil. And just having a little bit more of an option to charge in, pressure your opponent more efficiently, it could lend itself to be more advantageous for Twin 5-0 here. Especially if he's going to try out that Dr. Coil once again. I told you we might see her, and we are going to be seeing her come in. This is going to be a quick mirror match, where Twin will be coming in double, well no, Astro will be coming in double nade. Twin going to be going in roaster nade, looking to try to just pummel through Astro's loadout. A little bit faster retraction with that roaster, just a bit faster at coming out as well. But those explosions just are constantly troublesome and can easily lead into so much damage. This round starting off yet again, Astro's favor. He has that control. He just knows his way around Coil, and he knows how to respond to Coil as well. But he doesn't know how to respond to that rush, as Twin successful in that punish. Now it's going to be Astro looking for his chance to make his own play, get his own deflect, and dive in for his own counter rush. Nice bait from Astro, though, will allow him to just absorb those blows. Gives him a lot of rush meter as well, which means that we might see Twin readying himself up with the counter approach, with the counter play. He's got Astro at balanced health. He might be able to set up with the health lead as he's finding that ground, finding that control. Now comes the rush. This will be a safe block for Astro this time. Just barely slipping by, and he's going to be able to set up with the health lead. 13 seconds left on the clock. Twin is running low on options. He needs a couple of good trades to be able to put this back in his control. Now even more so with that nade explosion. And that's going to be Astro taking the first point after all of that work, after all of that time and energy. Just not enough.
Alright, Astro starting out with Rush from the get-go. Twin about to have it any second now.
Nice call out, but the
Ooh,
nade, again, that explosion, Twin just not ready to duck
punish.
out of the way. And it's setting up Astro with a really good lead. Good control again. He's got that rush ready as well. If he just sees an easy confirm, that would actually be a good rush right there, but he's not going to go for it. Just he's holding on to it just to keep this pressure, keep Twin scared and worried. Nice block from Twin does allow him to come out, get this chase coming back in his favor, but the recovery from Coil gonna allow Astro safely blocking out that rush. And it's back into his control, back into his contention, as Twin just doing everything he can to take Astro out, and it's not enough. 30 seconds left on the clock and quickly ticking down. Twin does have a rush ready. Astro just about ready with a rush of his own. Gonna try to go in for the play. Twin gonna safely block. I think he might have had a chance for a solid counterplay rush, but he just couldn't find the timing for it.
Yeah.
Astro just grabbing him, launching him across the field, and that is going to be this round. Astro now at a 2-0 advantage. Twin, recognizing that, will just eat that last hit.
I saw what he was going for there with the coil ditto, but I do not think that really worked out in his favor. So I predict that he's going to switch to a different character, perhaps back to Lola, but he could stick with coil.
I could see the coil sticking. A lot of it too is just the fact that he still needs to warm up on the matchup. He needs to learn how to play Dr. Coil effectively enough to make her really work here. And just, he still has that work. He's got that hill that he needs to be climbing, and we might, maybe sometime down the road, he might be able to keep up with Astra's Coil.
And we're going to see the coil ditto again, and they're going to Buster Beach.
This might be it. This might be Astro walking away 2-0 advantage. Twin gonna try to go in with a nice counterplay option there alongside at the ready. Slaps are one of Coil's least favorite arms to play against. If you know what you're doing with them, they can catch out a lot of her side-to-side movement. That said, going in double nade doesn't mean that you definitely have some good options here, and we are seeing both players doing the old Bayonetta, just playing at max distance, just slapping the air around each other, waiting for one to get it confirmed. Looks like it's going to be Astro getting that first lead.
Twin trying to make his way in there, but Astro just putting those nades at the right place at the right time. Going for the rush, but gets called out and punished for it by a well-placed nade.
And this is definitely just going to keep falling more and more into Astro's favor the deeper we go in looking at these exchanges. Nice call out with the block. Does keep Twin alive. But he still has 60% of Astro's health that he needs to be able to take the balance things out. Even more so now at the 80 meter. And Astro just not even scratched at this point. Finally getting some damage. 30 seconds remain. Astro finally falling below 70% health.
Putting Twin on Magic Pixel. Astro has Rush. Not going to need to use it. That uncharged nade just going to catch Twin's dash.
Astro's so confident in this matchup. He knows how to play Coil, and he knows how to play against Coil. He knows how to play ARMS. And if you don't have, like, a genuine, like, near mastery of this game, or how to play or respond to him, you're going to have a hard time, and Twin just struggling to find his way in this matchup. Choosing to switch over to the Roaster, yeah, again, I feel like the slap might have been a better call, but he's just looking for the gloves. You can't blame him. Gloves are on true classic. They're always the most steady of options out there. And we'll have to see if he's able to make them work this time, as both players holding about even. Astro finally started to get a bit of a lead. Now comes this rush. It's going to be a safe punish as that other nade traveling across the field. A hard whip on that aim. Thinks he sees a chance. Astro just going to choose to hold out the shield, recognizing it's probably what Twin was going to be looking for in that case at that time.
Astro with a nice health advantage there. Twin almost in the critical. Astro going for the rush. Ooh, Twin trying to evade it, but getting caught off, putting him one hit away from a KO, and that's going to do it. Giving Astro a 3-0 win over Twin's 5-0.
And that confirms everything up to this point in the tournament, in this bracket, has either been a 3-0 sweep or a 3-1. There has not been anything in between. Just pure powerhouses from either end coming in. Pyra taking Steel 3-1, Pine taking Adam 3-0, Twin taking Slosh 3-1, Astro Luna 3-0, Astro Twin 3-0, Pine Pyra 3-0. Well, I guess the Luna Slosh isn't a 3-0 because Slosh needs to protect himself from a natural disaster, which I guess he outwitted the system there. And then Steel taking Adam down 3-0. And then the rest of the players currently logged into their bouts. We will not be diving into the winter finals just yet. We're going to let the players go through their matches right now, and then we'll catch up with them in the comeback quarterfinals. No, is that semifinals? Yeah, that'd be comeback semifinals. No, either be Pyra, Luna, Twin, or Steel that will be seen there. So Mario, how are you enjoying the tournament so far?
It's really been a treat to watch. I really enjoy seeing this top level play.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting. It's intense. There's a lot of cool and fun things going in there. I always enjoy watching these people play. I enjoy watching these people duke it out. But
it is a treat, yeah.
Indeed. While we're waiting here and giving our players a moment to breathe, we do have a word from some of our sponsors that we can talk about and show off some of their cool stuff. As you can see here, IluZ's got a new streetwear for you to wear. Look at that fabulous long sleeve sweater. You look good wearing it. Go support them stuff. Helps the team IluZ if you buy the clothing. We've even got, there's the link down there. We've even got like various whatever. If you hide it like this, there, that looks good. Yeah, you see it, perfect. But yeah, you can see him right there. It looks really nice. You can see the various different designs, different colors. Definitely some really cool stuff. Go check them out. IluZ did sponsor this tournament for $50 to help out these players and give them a little more to fight towards. So many props, many thanks to them. And of course, Scrapstar series will be returning once this month comes to an end. The Scrapstar series is a bi-weekly. We might go weekly again just based on various things going on. I'll talk about it more later. But it is a tournament series that is organized and run right here on Planet Scrapstar. You just go to battlefy.com to check it out. There is actually links available for the current up-and-coming NA and EU brackets, along with a special Snake Park only tournament that will be going on in just 2 days. If any of that sounds exciting, if any of that sounds cool, check out battlefy.com/planetscrapstar and see yourself in. Next up.
I know I'm gonna enter that Snake Park tournament.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be awesome. Okay.
Yes. On top of that, we do have some other tournament organizers, other events and communities that are a part of the ARMS scene. If you want other ARMS events going on potentially Sundays, Wednesdays, or is that Fridays? She's got a lot of times. there's a lot of different times that you can see a tournament in Network Era, and I strongly recommend you go check them out. There's lots of really cool things that happen there. It's a great community, lots of cool friends. Good times to be had. You're among friends at Network Era. Yes, I totally... Alright, moving forward though, we do also have the bi-weekly procrastination. This is a week-long tournament series, goes on throughout, like, it starts on Sunday, and generally the goal is to end it on the Saturday of that week. Sometimes it goes a little bit longer, but basically how it works, you go sign up. There's a link over at the bottom right for the Discord or their Twitter that you can just find the links for their events. You sign up, tournament starts, and then you just find your opponent every now and then on any of the days from Sunday to Saturday and make schedules with them. You go in, you play your bouts, you enter the score on the scoreboard, you fight your next opponent and make another schedule. Finish that one, face off against your next opponent, and you just keep that rolling, keep that momentum going forward until you've either been knocked out of the bracket or you're the champion.
It's really convenient too, especially with work and university and all of that starting back up. I'm a huge fan of the format.
Indeed. It's really cool. It's really flexible. Works well for people who do have a busy work schedule. Say you're not free on the usual time for most events. This one's going to work a little bit more favorably for you. If you've got school, if you've got kids that you need to take care of, and maybe sometimes you only have like an hour to work with on any given day. This is a really good tournament for a more casual, more flexible playstyle. If you still want that tournament drive, definitely check them out. Of course, heading onwards though, we do have the Steel Trap series Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. CST. Generally, it's every week. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Nothing really does though, or not everything's consistent though, and you do see the odd event kind of dip by. But generally, if you're looking for some good old-fashioned backroom arms combat, this is definitely a great place to go. One of the competitors, Steelhead, actually organizes this tournament himself, and he does a solid job of that. Has a cool community of people, cool group of friends, lots of fierce competitive action. Unlike a lot of the other tournaments, this one, once you enter the top 8 arena, it immediately becomes best of 5. So so if you can get that far, you get all of those games. You get more chances to outwit. You get a lot more playtime to try to figure out your foe. Definitely a really cool place. Go check them out. And then last but not least, we have our other sponsor of this Invitational. We've got Jor Games, streamer extraordinaire, tournament organizer of the Confectionery Clash. This runs, to many of those who might be familiar to Scrimps, this tournament runs very similarly to his. Slight stage differences based on various needs and interests, but it runs similarly. You start off in groups of 4. Top 2 will advance to an elimination bracket, and then you're fighting to see who gets the prize money from those final top games. Jord contributed $200 to this tournament. He's a great guy. He's got a great tournament. Go check him out. And then, last but not least, this is sponsored by Planet Scrapstar, right here, right where you are. As you saw before, I do stream tournaments. I stream various things. Battlefy.com/PlanetScrapstar. We've got a bunch of cool emotes here. If you subscribe, if you support the channel, it helps me maybe one day make this the goal of making the stream be my more focused job, closer to a reality. It's a long way to go, but it's definitely possible, and can only be possible through the help of all of you. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for checking things out. Thank you for considering thank you for spending your time here, because those views they make a difference. They're good. Viewers are nice. I like you people, especially you lurkers. Lurkers are cool. I know apparently some people are like dunking on lurkers all of a sudden now, but
Oh, lurkers are awesome.
yeah, they're cool people.
They just sit in the shadows and watch.
I've honestly never seen any of the areas that are being mean to lurkers, but like my social sphere on Twitch is like everybody's like, yo, lurkers are cool, we like our lurkers. But apparently there's like drama going on that lurkers are lame, and it's like, well, those people aren't cool. I don't even follow them anyway, so I can just tell them off and say they're lame, they smell bad. Because I don't even know them in the first place. And also, on top of all that, if you do want to support this tournament, if you want to give a little bit more money for our players who are contending, trying to get that first position, there's a Match Arena link here. You can contribute as much, as little as you want. Any money that gets added into this prize pool will make its way into the players' pockets by the end of the day. So, don't be afraid. Like, $5 they'll appreciate $5 additional. If everybody here was like threw in like $5, that's another $150 in the bracket. Not saying that you should do that, because it's still like $150 out of all of your pockets altogether. Some of you don't have $5, so that's understandable, it's fair. But like, donations will help it out, even if it's small amounts, even if it's not the 200 Jor made, if it's not the 50 that IluZ made. It's good, it's nice.
Alright. How is Bracket looking, out of curiosity?
Let's see. So, it looks like Para and Luna has finished, and it is another 3-0 sweep, as Para is now awaiting his next opponent. We could probably get him in here, as he'll be the next one streamed. Some of you don't have $5, I don't even have pockets. That is a fair mood. That's a mood. Sometimes just having things go on in the background, it helps out a lot. I know, like, generally, if I'm just gonna talk about my stuff, tournaments are the only things I get viewers on. Like, literally. There's a lot of streams where I'll do my best to have something cool going on, and I'll have, like, me and nobody else. If I'm lucky, maybe 2 or 3 other people will drop by. But it's like, this channel's gonna be going the way of what viewers watch, so it's like, I like playing games, I like just streaming whatever and just having fun. That said, oh, that's a raid. Hello there. That said,
hello.
If you want to see this channel grow, if you want to see it be successful, I need people to watch. It makes a big difference. So thank you all for watching this one, and please consider watching more of this stuff down the road. Be it the tournaments, be it me bashing my head against a wall in One Step from Eden, be it me doing like Ninjala stuff, or playing ARMS, or whatever else I do. I do things. Hello friends. Many thanks to Sonic Windy Blade for the raid. Many greetings to the new friends that have dropped by here. You came in at the perfect time for me to be saltily ranting about things. Perfect. We are currently midway through a tournament. We're just taking a short break as we're letting an off-stream bout finish its roles. And then we'll be diving right back in with the comeback semifinals. Then we've got the winter finals, comeback finals, and then grand finals to finish things off. So we've still got 4 intense matches coming our way.
Do you think we have time for a game, or do you think they're going to be done any second now?
Let's see. Where are they?
That could liven up the stream a little.
It looks like they've done. They're in their first bout, so we've definitely got a little bit of room. We've got some space. We've also got Para that we could bring in, and Para can definitely.
Yeah, we could bring him in.
Punch some faces too.
Yeah.
You're going to see an Astro vs. Para rematch. We might be seeing that, but he does have a little bit of a hill to climb. Not only would Para have to be able to take his next opponent out, but depending on how the Astro vs. Pine matchup goes, there is a very real possibility that he's going to have to go through a rematch with Pine and take him down, which was a 3-0 in Pine's favor. So that is not an easy matchup for him before he gets the chance at Astro. Or the alternative happens and Pine takes Astro out, which means he'll get that rematch right away, but that just shows how scary Pineapple is. Mario, why did you leave us?
Ooh, yeah, my controller just disconnected. One moment, I'm sorry. Says the battery was low, so I plugged it in.
Ah, fair.
Hold on, let me pull up the code again because I forgot, because I tend to forget a lot of stuff.
Understandable. You're
Okay,
scared
there
of
it
all
is.
these players in general. There's lots of scary... People are good at being scary in this game, because once you figure out what you're doing, it's not that hard to be scary. Chat, I'm gonna ask you, since we've got Para here, we've got me here, and we've got Mario. Do you want to see any of us have a quick bout? Or do you have any questions or things that you want to talk about? We're definitely in a prime position where we can just, like, pull out a grudge match, have Pyra versus Mario, Pyra versus me versus Mario. Or if you've got questions that you can ask, like, you can ask questions and we'll probably answer them. We'll do our best to answer those questions. You take care, friend. Thanks for the raid. Maybe some Kid Cobra fight would be cool. Well, who do you want to see do a quick grudge match? Or two? Let me know, chat. I mean, I could do a quick poll, too. So we got Mil vs. Mario, Mil v. Para, or Mario v. Para. Very quick, very short poll. Got it rolling up right now. You want to see Mileve play? Well, we've got the poll going up right now. So go ahead, do your voting. Click on the screen. /vote 1 would be Mileve versus Mario. /vote 2 is Mileve versus Para. /vote 3 is Mario versus Para. Okay, well, everybody's just voting for me.
Honestly, that's what I voted for too.
How dare you? How dare you use additional... Oh, me versus Mario. Okay, he says any backroom stage, so I'll just turn them all on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. Alright, let me get the thing. So we got a quick little duel. Light little duel. I don't have my right loadout set up. I'm glad I checked, because I don't want to go against Para with triple nades. This... At work, that's good against Neru. That's fun against Neru. Maybe not against Para. Name system, please. Let me get the name. Where's Para? There. Alright. Let's do... that. Alright, let's see how I can do. Going in with the Guardian. Got the junior loadout.
Alright, Mileve going in with Slapamander Bub. Para going in with his Kid Cobra. Guardian, Tribolt, as Mileve said, the junior. So far, both players have pretty even health. Para trying to get in with that pressure, but Mileve just keeping him back. Mileve with Rush on deck, letting it out, landing a solid 310. Para about to have a rush of his own in a moment. Ooh, he goes for that grab, but she just barely misses it. Para now with a rush of his own, looking to move in, getting a grab, going for the rush, but getting blocked off. Para now in critical, Mileve with another rush of her own, going for it, not taking any chances, and going to take that first round.
There's hair in my mouth.
Oh,
I don't like hair in my mouth.
I don't like hair in my mouth. Alright, both players sticking with their same arms. Hara going for that grab, going to land it. Going in for that stun into Guardian, doesn't quite get it. Now Hara with a rush advantage. Both players at even health. Hara goes for that grab, lands it. It's now at health advantage. Both players have rush
This is a
on
terrible
deck.
rush. Yay! 75.
75. Hara with a rush of his own. Mileve is going to have to respect it. She is now in critical health. Hara with the advantage, trying to come in, play it safe. Mileve going to have to be really careful. All it will take is about 1 or 2 more charged hits. Nice charged Flapamander on Hara. Both players with rush ready to go. Mileve going to use hers. Hara giving his out as well. He takes the bait. So now both players are out of a rush. Ooh, that 1-2 puts Hara into critical. 7 seconds left on the clock. She just needs to get 1 or 2 good hits and goes for that grab, lands it, and takes the game.
Why grab girls? Let's go!
Let's go! That was insane. Nice.
Alright.
And that's the game.
Very good. Very intense. Alright. Mario, do you want to play against Hara now? And I can answer chat questions? Or should,
Sure.
or do I have
might
to
as
do the
well.
best of 3? Am I not allowed to one and done him? Chat.
Chat, you decide.
Chat, is it a best of 3 or do I get to rep one and done? Am I free? Am I free? I did your match. I did your match!
Chat? Best of 3.
Some thinking going on. I see some thinking. First to 10? We're
First
not
to
having
10.
a first to 10 here, no. Mate, you already voted. You said your number. You don't have to cover the chat. I see what you want. But I gotta let other people say too. This bull, what a bull. What's... Junior, no! I'm not doing the first to 10. We've got a tournament to run. No!
Best of 19?
This isn't how it works. Don't you Guardian Poggies... No, okay. You know what? Next person to do a first to whatever, I'm timing them out. I will flex my stream superiority powers. Do you want the best of 3 or do you want Mario to step in and play against Hara? I warned you! I warned you, you get the timeout!
Solo.
600 seconds, right there, bam! Mario vs. Pyra. Alright, any other votes? We've got the best of 3, and we've got one for Mario vs. Pyra. I'll let one more vote be the tiebreaker. Bolt, what say you? Mario vs. Pyra? Okay. Alright, we got Mario vs. Pyra.
Alright, time to hop in. Ooh,
with your not
already.
quality controller.
No, with my PlayStation 4 controller.
Yes.
Oh man, this is gonna be fun.
You two
All
are
right,
at
let's
game
do
5. Best of luck to you both. Mario's gonna try to entertain the crowd while you two duke it out. And it looks like you're both going to the same stage. Alright, so diving into this one, Mario gonna be going in with the coaster, with the Slamamander. Why did you go double bump against it? Why couldn't you do that against me? It would have been so much easier for me. Regardless, things are looking pretty alright for Mario right now. Just doing some good boxing, trying to keep up pace. But out comes a nice 265 rush. You did hear that correctly. He is playing with a PlayStation 4 controller. I mean, how else are you supposed to play ARMS? With an Xbox 360
All the good players use PS4 controllers.
Yeah, like, what's our other options? A keyboard? I'm not using a keyboard to play ARMS. Oh, that almost took you down. But a nice hit with that Mander will give Mario a little bit more breathing space, but only so much. His power will pummel him down. DK Bongos, you make a good point, my friend. You make a good point.
True.
I've seen people play Smash with the bongos before, so it is possible. Now my brain's trying to think of the logistics of, like, I mean, it translates perfectly fine, I figure, but, like, my brain's, like, wrapping around the logistics of what the buttons mean all of a sudden now, where the circle is now A instead of, like, B or something along those lines, and it's like, what's going on?
I mean, muscle memory is taking over. It's mostly the analog sticks that are more
Difficult.
Yeah, in a different position.
He's got a good shield breaker he's looking to throw out.
Ah, man, those bubs. Those first 5 GG.
Par gonna be taking that one. If anybody's interested in listening to me ramble, I might as well talk about myself for a moment. So, I'm sure a few of you know I am also, alongside with Twin50, alongside with Astro Ninja, I'm actually a player for Team IluZ. As I said before, I'm a Twitch streamer, entertainer. I play a bunch of games on here, main one being the ARMS and ARMS events. That said, I'm no slouch to this game either. As you might have saw there, I was like a handful of points away from being able to make it to the top 8 for this Invitational, but unfortunately for me, I was not gamer enough, nor did I have the time or energy to be able to play in enough events to be able to qualify. But generally, I do play a lot of competitive ARMS, I put a lot of energy into this game and scene, and then I play a lot of other things too. Currently getting into Ninjala. I really want to play Pokken, but it requires me to not be completely exhausted and spent. So unfortunately I haven't played that as much as I want. And then yeah, I just play a bunch of mostly Nintendo games. I'm looking to try to run a Crystal Caravan in a little bit. For anybody who might be interested, I'm definitely looking forward to trying out that game. I'm hearing it has like bad loading times and everything, but I'll deal. How long have I been in IluZ? Since the last Smash and Splash. So it's been over a year now. It was like at the start of last year's summer. Like June? Yeah, around that area. So it's been a little over a year. I've got a jersey. I've never shown it off. I've never taken a picture because I was saving it for like when I went to an offline at either my locals or some kind of major and traveled. But it just so happened to be that the pandemic happened right around the time that I was going to go for one of those. So I could no longer travel, and now that jersey's just sitting there.
Yeah, I've seen those jerseys. They look really cool. The Illusion Wizard jerseys.
Pineapples on pizza? I mean, it's a pizza. You put what you want on it. Some people make chocolate pizzas. They're good. Enjoy your pizza. I like pineapples. They go good on pizza for me.
Express yourself. Pizza is good. Do what you like with pizza. It's pizza. It's pizza.
Yeah. I don't see many
Chocolate on
anchovies
pizza?
these days, but I like anchovies.
Yeah. Anchovies apparently used to be quite common.
Yeah.
Well, I heard. I don't know anymore. I've never seen anchovies on pizza.
It's because a lot of people didn't like them. And also, I think they're hard to keep going.
Yeah. And speaking of pizza, I can't think of a good segue, but we have both of our players on stream now.
Yes.
Steelhead and Para.
Steelhead able to take Twin 5-0 out. 3-2, just barely making it by, which means the one match so far in our tournament that looks like it was the closest, that is going to be the one that we will miss. But hopefully we'll see this one be a little bit closer. Para stepping in to face off against Steelhead, who's been making some good work climbing through this bracket, taking down a lot of really difficult matchups to get here. And Para's disappeared.
Oop. Alright.
We'll get him back in. But yes, so this will be our first time seeing Steelhead in this tournament, which means also that does mean that I think beyond Lunagavs, we got to see every single one of our competitors. At least once.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
So that's a small celebration, small victory right there. We should just be getting things up and rolling momentarily. Steelhead being very well known for being an exceptionally solid max brass main. We've seen Para's flexibility. You saw how he plays Ninja. We've seen the Kid Cobra. You can see a lot more. This kid has a lot of characters. He's very confident in, as well, as we saw with that Mechanica too. Just lots of options for him to bring out and steal. Just a really steady brass and Springtron.
Para, of course, one of the absolute best players in NA, but Steel is a force to be reckoned with, and he has been climbing up the rank. So this will be... These are all interesting matches. This will be another interesting match. I don't think there's been any bad matches today.
We'll have to see how this one goes out too. It might work out better for Para, but Steel's definitely somebody who can surprise, and he's been able to take down some very difficult matchups. Alright, looks like we are going to be going to Mausoleum for this. Once these two are set and ready, we can dive in for our comeback semifinal match. Oh yeah, we need Para to hop back in. He disappeared and he hasn't reappeared yet. That is very unfortunate. Just a reminder for everybody too, as we're heading into the top 4 matches, if you see something cool, if you see a hype moment, make a clip. take the little moment. This is a little clip, movie clipboard thing. You press the clipboard button, you make a clip. It's cool. Helps out the channel. You can share it around on Twitter, on Discord, to your friends on the street. Don't go to your friends on the street though, because social distancing, especially in the US. But like, clips are good. Helps the channel, helps me, makes you look cool too. It's good for everybody.
Alright, Para has returned, and it looks like he is ready to get going.
Rare to go, Steel stepping in as well. And this rematch will be commencing, going right underway. Max Brass versus Kid Cobra. So we didn't get to stream this one before, but it looks like these two put their work in to make sure that we get to see how this rolled last time, or maybe if it's going to be a different story moving forward. Are going to be starting off with double roasters. Steelhead going in with a very different loadout from what he used to be saying, as that boomerang is set up alongside the nade.
You don't often see a curving arm from Steelhead. Well, you do see Chalk from sometimes, but I don't think I've seen much of a boomerang. So far, Para with a significant health advantage and has Rush on deck. Steel in critical. And Para just going to easily take that round.
And that is
getting
a
perfect.
Clean perfect to start. Just nigh a speedrun as well, getting just over 34 seconds to take Steel out there. Just keeping a really solid tempo and pace. Putting that boomerang away. Yeah, looks like we're seeing that boomerang be put away. We've got nades. We've got gloves on both sides of the field. Steel looking to try to duke things out yet again. This time with a different approach, different arms. This might give him a better edge, especially when he can start off strong with a rush. Trying to find his way in. Played it out very patiently, just had to respect Para's quick movements with Kid Cobra. Ended up stalling things out enough that he didn't even get to utilize that buffed up status. But he does get another chance, gets the grab, sets up that advantage tempo, but he's gonna get pushed back as Para responds with a grab, catching him leaping into the air. And now Para balancing things out and ready with a rush, so he's got good control and good contention.
Steelhead getting in that grab, getting some much needed damage on Para. Para with Rush on deck, going to use it, and going to be able to secure, the KO.
Just a quick, very confident round for him. Steel made some good plays, but just could not keep things going. As those double roasters just... That's one thing that Para is really well known for, is his boxing. And the way he can just keep up pace, keep up tempo and pattern, and keep the race going without much hesitation or issue against any of his opponents. It takes some exceptional plays to be able to keep out Para and his double gloves. And we saw some of that right there, where Para just danced around him every which way. Usually he's more well known for Springman doing that, but Kid Cobra is definitely no slouch when it comes to boxing too. Just with those short hops covering so much ground. And just making these choice pokes again. This round started off very confidently for him. And Steel feeling the need, bringing out that Kablammer, looking to try to make a different arm work. Different option, different tool. We'll have to see how it rolls, starting things. This is still very much in Para's favor as he's holding that huge lead. Those blasts do give a little bit of ground, a little bit of hesitation, and give Steel the chance to land a nice punish and get that buff up.
Steel with a rush. Wait, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Steelhead with a rush of his own, but he just used it as we were talking.
Does use it, ends up making some work with it too, as he's got Para backed up against the wall at critical health. This grab is going to set him to one blow away. This might be his round, and it will be, as that Kablammer slaps him down and sets the score to Steel's points.
It looks like the switch was working out for in Steelhead's favor, and still is. But Para is adapting as time goes on, so
Nice
Alright.
grab catch
Well-
there. Sets Para with the health lead. That Kablammer still, it's a heavy arm. It's well apt at countering Kid Cobra's aerial movements. Every time you see Para jump into the sky, that thing will just smack him down. Out comes the rush. Para, not able to bring it out in time, will allow Steel to safely block, maybe anticipating Steel throwing a rush of his own, and actually giving Steel a nice chance to respond now. Coming with the heavy damage, 365, and now Para cannot take any more grabs, any more damage. As he might be able to bring this to one apiece, and will. Kablammer being that big, beefy, scary monster of an arm. Whammer and Kablammer just so good at being anti-airs and just catching out Kid Cobra's movements.
Alright, it looks like they're going for another run back. Same character. Likely the same arms. Well, we could see a switch. Oh, are we? Is Para going to still stick with double... No. He's going... Popper clapback.
These are two good arms at catching out Brass. This can be a really difficult matchup for him. And this could be a good testing water for Steel on how he might face off against Pine, because this is something that Pineapple also uses as well. And we are seeing, like, right away that he's gonna have to take a moment to get himself acclimated to this, because this is another round that Pine or Para is just doing a phenomenal job of just punishing him out. Nice call out for Steel to safely block that down. He needs to get some kind of damage though, otherwise Para's going to be walking away with a second perfect in this set. Finally gets that hit. Doing a little bit of a wiggle. He's happy. He'll take it. He'll take it. You can't blame a man for taking that and running.
Alright, both players starting with Rush right off the bat. Steel having to find a way around that clapback popper combo. Keeps on getting edged out. Para with that dodge and counter rush, putting Steel already at half health. Para yet to get hit.
Yeah, Para just dancing around these attacks again. You can see Steel trying to plan out his course of action. Boomerang will allow for some damage, gives him a little bit more ground, gets that buff up going too. And finally, starting to get some more tempo. We get the knockdown, we get another Boomerang hit, and Steel building up that rush. He needs to make sure that Para doesn't have his rush, because if Para's rush comes out, that will be a very safe KO. He might be able to just poke Steel out down two. Nice dodge! An excellent counterplays from Steel, but unfortunately, he just cannot keep it rolling. And Para now with a 2-1 advantage has to change up his approach, because this new set is catching him really off guard and giving him a very hard time. And it looks like it blew Mario right out of the park as he is disconnected yet again.
Okay, yeah, my controller. I'm gonna have to use my second controller. I'm so sorry.
You died?
Yeah, apparently. And I don't know why it kicked you out of the lobby.
No, I kicked you out of the lobby.
Alright. No, I mean me. I was talking in general. Okay. Alright, here, I'll just hook up my Joy-Con.
Alright, there we go.
Cool.
All of the controllers just keep dying on you. They keep dying! You need to stop stabbing them with knives.
Yeah, I'm a bad luck magnet. Okay. Para sticking with the clapback popper combo. Steel going for the boomerang again, looking to get around that clapback.
That Boomerang's definitely a solid pick for it. Likely what was going on in that first round was Para went with the double roaster, anticipating that Boomerang, and just kind of powered through him. And now Steel going in with the Boomerang, this specifically being to counter that clapback. We do see a little bit of results, some good damage coming from it, but even then, overall it looks like it's definitely still Para's control, is still his contention. Rush is going to come out, but this is not going to work out well for Steel as he gets locked into his place, into his motion. And Para now holding out onto a very strong lead yet again. That buff up going to actually make him an easy target for his own boomerang as he gets knocked back. Now Para looking for one solid hit, and he's going to slide right into that popper too. And again, another quick start where that nade, the popper combo just all lines up in Steel's face. He just cannot find his way in. This grass just cannot keep the tempo. Mausoleum might not be the best pick of a stage for him in these exchanges. I can respect the man for wanting to stick with this stage, but it is definitely not working out nearly as well as he might be hoping for. Might need a little bit more of aggressive of a stage, or something a little more defensive to give him the room to buff up. That said, we do see
But Steel
a good
still
rush.
getting damage off of that rush.
Steel quickly
knocked
knocked
Steel
into
into
critical. This is running low. Trying to find that charge and starting to make some better calls out against that clapback. He's getting that damage in now. Just needs a little bit more. Para has the rush ready. This might determine how things are going. You can see Para trying to bait him out into something. A nice call out, nice rush. Para gonna safely block it, keeping himself alive, and finishes this out with an excellent read with the grab.
That'll be it.
Indeed. With that, Steel able to take a set point off of Para, but in the end of the day, it was the same as last time. Steel doing his best, but could only get that 1 point off. And as such, he will be settling in at 4th place. Para advancing to the comeback finals and will be looking for his next opponent. Speaking of his next opponent, meanwhile, in the winner finals, we do have Pineapple and Astro Ninja awaiting their match. They've taken a solid break. They took a long breather. And now they're coming back in. These two will be taking a dance together. Whoever takes this will be settling up nice and cozily in the grand final advantage position. Whoever gets knocked out here will have to face off against Para in the comeback finals. So here we have it. We have our top seeds, our two titans of this bracket. The two that have generally been undefeated wherever they go. Haven't really faced off against each other this whole tournament series. And finally, we have them here, ready to fight. Who's gonna be taking this? Whoever gets knocked into the comeback bracket will not have an easy hill to climb, as Para is definitely going to be a very serious contender, a very massive threat.
This is the match I've been looking most forward to, actually, the top 2 seeds going at it. I haven't seen this matchup very often, so this is going to be a treat.
You know, these two don't drop by too often in events, but when they do, or they have very specific things that they look into, they dive into to see. But whenever they hop into their things, they're pretty much just like, nobody comes even close. And that sounds like a good idea. Let's see what chat thinks. Who do you think's gonna take the whole bracket? Not just this one, but the whole thing overall. We got Pineapplefreak, we've got Astro Ninja, and we've got Para. Parja. We'll give you lots of time to think about that and vote. Go ahead and say your piece. Who do you think's gonna take this tournament? Do you think it's gonna be the Pineapplefreak, the lover of pineapples, has the t-shirts, he has the decorations, all of it is Pineapple, for he is the Pineapple Freak. Is it going to be Astro Ninja, the dancing madness of a coil? Or do you think it's going to be the boxing master, the dancer Para, who's going to be able to win this? Go ahead and vote now. And while we are waiting on those results, we can begin our winner finals match. Astro Ninja facing off against Pineapple at the sparring ring. Alright, starting things off. It looks like Pineapple going in, Hopper, clapback. Astro going in with the double toasters and immediately charging up and getting a great opening. That 130 damage, fire damage, slowing that rush generation, giving himself a light health lead and some more control in this matchup. Starting to make some control of his own, some nice pokes, almost gets that grab to connect, but Astro just wisely raising above it, will not get caught out. That could have been a heavy 170 damage that he would not want to take, but he is going to be able to get a little bit of a poke out of that rush. Unfortunately for him, it's just not enough. Nice call out against that rush, will safely block out most of it, only taking 20 damage at the chip end. Holding on to a light lead, trying to keep this pace going. Pineapple getting some more damage in. These two continue to stick neck to neck. Astro just barely holding on top in all of these exchanges. I think that's another good connection. And yeah, now we're starting to see Astro get that control, getting that ground. He's got more feel, he's got a better feel on what he's looking for, and Pineapple's starting to struggle to find his answer. As Astro gets that killing blow and sets up with point advantage. Both players will be starting off with their loadout, sticking with these guns. Toaster's definitely showing that they can do the job well, and this is probably one of Pineapple's best loadouts. You cannot blame him for wanting to stick with it, feel it out, see if he can find the right answer. Without the rush, he will not be able to fight back against Astro's rush and ends up taking a heavy amount, setting Astro with a very confident lead. Trying to keep this going. Nice dash refresh there, just keeping this tempo rolling. Gets the rush, finally getting himself 315 damage. Still has a little work to go before he can balance things out, but that pop-up will do that work for him. Gives him the health lead. Not far enough to really hold out on contention though. Astro now just hovering right over the clapback. We'll get one well-timed toaster to punch him out.
Astro already with another rush on deck. With the health advantage, going to knock Pine into critical. Those constant pressure from the toasters just not letting Pine be able to approach very well.
This might seem like a pretty balanced stage initially, but you can just see with how Astro is responding to that clapback there, it is so easy for him just to stay high and above that clapback and completely defeat its entire purpose. And he's just safely, consistently able to just punch down that popper as a result, which means he's going to have more than enough opportunities to get the KOs and to get that first set point. Astro also with some really good timing off of that rush, responding to that clapback, recognizing that it's going to take a little bit of time for the clapback to retract and come out again. So he quickly throws out that toaster flurry again after blocking, and he manages to KO Pineapple too. So just lots of solid rush interactions there to make sure that he controlled that field. And speaking of field, this is going to be a big one because our next heading will be to Temple Grounds. This is a stage that Pine can definitely work with. He's not looking for those flat fields, he's looking for a little bit more curve above. If he can get that high ground, if he can get that spacing, he can definitely make this clapback just that much more efficient, that much more dangerous. And we are going to see him quickly get to that position too, which means that that clapback is going to just be a lot more difficult for Astro to contend with. That said, this is still Quell we're talking about. Having that high hover, staying high above the ground does make it him more than capable of getting above it. And now that he's got that high ground too, trying to keep Pine back up against the wall, stuck to that low ground, just makes it even easier for him to punch through. And the stage just not working out nearly as well as Pine would be hoping, as Astro is just looking to perfect Pine, and will be able to do so within the first 38 seconds. Diving into our next round. Pineapple gonna be continuing to push with this loadout. I've seen this before. This loadout can work, but Pine really has to be able to make the right plays, make the right calls, and I don't think he's ready to be able to get these yet. He's still trying to warm up, trying to figure out what he's really looking for against Astro. And Astro just constantly surprising him with his boxing, with this consistent pacing. Finally, though, with some high ground, this is working out a little bit better for Pine. He's going to safely dodge out of the way, only taking 125 damage, some excellent movement. But now this does give Astro that chance to turn things back into his control. Looking to try, it's all about that high ground. Astro just trying to push Pine back. Pine desperately trying to hold that field, because as soon as he loses it, that's when Astro's starting to get that damage, starts to get those trades to work out better for him.
And now that most of these pillars are knocked down, it does give Pine more room to move, but he's just going to get grabbed from quite a far range. Last pillar down now. That clapback going to block out some of the rush, but a couple hits getting it at the end there.
Oh, Astro gonna be able to
block that
cover.
rush. Pine now into critical. 13 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, and he's not gonna be able to reach through that grab attempt. Astro's grab just going straight over him, and it will allow him to hold out on a 2-point advantage. Looking for one more to advance. Just a reminder for everybody, that poll is still going on. Go ahead and click on the box right above chat. You can say who you think is going to be able to take this tournament, who could take this bracket. Is it going to be Astro? Will it be Pine? Or will it be the surprise Para? I mean, technically none of these players are the surprise at this point.
Alright, both players, they're going back to Temple Grounds. Let's see if Pine switches his loadout. No, he's sticking to his guns.
If he gets high ground, like we saw some good trades, we saw some good exchanges, he just needs to be able to get that high ground, and he needs to be able to keep it against Astro. That seems to be a lot of what's going on here.
Yeah, if Astro gets that high ground, yeah, his toasters can just go over the clapback and get those pokes in.
And then Kikobra's jumps are just so much more ineffective. But
yeah.
if Kikobra can get above Coil, then it's a completely different story. Where Pineapple will just have an easy time leaping over all of Astro's setups, and that clapback will be a perfect guardian. And it will allow for that popper to really poke in and do some damage. Astro looking for a chance to go in with the rush. You see, he's playing really patiently, trying to bait some grab attempt, some kind of opening, some misplay, and he's going to be able to catch Pine out. 205 damage, and recovering in time to block that rush. Toaster being so good at boxing and just recovering at that speed. If you make a whiff with that thing, look how quickly it comes back. It's back in his control in just mere moments.
Yeah. Okay. 19 seconds left on the clock. Astro with the health advantage. He now has Rush ready to go.
his chance.
He's going-
gonna safely block off a chunk of it, but he still has 25% of Astro's health he has to work through. This will be the chance, though. He gets that damage. 200, 350 damage before the timer is out. This round, starting off Pineapple's favor.
That rush came in really clutch. That was some good work. Alright.
Something that a lot of people do need to keep in mind when it comes to Dr. Coil, and especially Astro Ninja. This is... A lot of people have a problem with Dr. Coil claiming that she is undisputedly the best character in this game. Well, there's a lot of people out there who feel that she is just impossibly good. And generally that's not necessarily the case, because they're also forgetting about the fact that Astro's also demonstrated his ability to play pretty much any other character in this game to such a level. A lot of it is just the fact that Astro knows this game. He's probably spends more time playing this game than anybody else in this scene, anyone else in this community. And on top of him using such an excellent character, it makes him incredibly difficult to contend with. Even the top players usually can't keep up because he has so much more fundamental understanding. Like, you look at how people do rush interactions, and then you see how he plays rush, and it's just on another level in most cases. Like, look at this bait, look at this respawn, look at him knowing that that is a safe punish, and off of that counterplay getting 150 damage. Who else do you see do that? Who else do you see do that? And people are talking about how Coil needs to be banned. It's not Coil that's the problem. It's Astro, and I don't mean him as a problem.
He just knows so much. No! Coil is a great character.
Ooh!
Lie about that.
Yo!
Wait, okay. Okay. Woo! That poke at the very end.
Nice plays from Pine. We'll be able to keep him rolling. And gets that point. Back to what we were saying, though, but, like, a lot of it is Astro. Like, if you come across other Dr. Coils, like, most people can usually keep up. Most people can contend with other Dr. Coils. It's just Astro. It's Astro.
I mean, there are some other Dr. Coils that are really good, such as Dastardly and Hedgie and all of them, but other players can contest with them pretty fairly. But it's Astro, and Astro, yeah, like you said, it's not just Coil he plays. He has a great Misongo, he has a good Brass, he has a good Min. He has a fundamental understanding of almost every character in this game.
Like, I can go into a bracket, I'll be worried about Coil because it's Coil, but, like, I can take the most Coils out without any problems. But just like how Pineapple is an issue, as you've seen with everybody here, Pineapple is an issue for everybody almost. Except Astro. And then Astro's a problem for everybody for a lot of similar reasons. And a lot of people get countered out because these loadouts are so fine-tuned and effective. Clapback Popper is so devastating against most of the cast. Dr. Coil going in with double toasters, double buff, double roaster, double nade. It's such an... It works well for it because... And it helps that it's such an easy loadout to think of, where Clapback Popper might be a little more complicated to understand. But, like, these are difficult characters with difficult playstyles and loadouts, and really showcasing a lot of the complexities that go into this game as well because of that. It's not just Coil is busted, Kid Cobra is busted. If you think these characters are genuinely busted and unplayable, you put the time in, see how it is. Chances are, if you put the time that Astro has, if you put the time Pineapple has, you'd probably contend with them a lot better. I'm saying that as somebody who has put that time in and has been able to take these players out before. Like, if you know what you're doing, you can beat these players. You just have to be willing to spend the time and energy like any other fighting game. It's not just neutral.
It's a lot of grinding you need to do in order to understand the ins and outs of the game.
I mean, that's every fighting game. That's Pokemon. That's Street
Yeah,
Fighter.
true.
That's Guilty Gear.
That's Smash.
That's Pokemon. That's any game. That's any game you want to get competitive.
Any competitive game.
Ooh, nice catch here. It will not work though. That said, I don't think Astro really needs that, as Pine is on Magic Pixel, and unless he gets the rush to stick, this is it. He tries to go for the rush, but that pillar just had too much health. And you saw Pine was like, I have to go for this to be at the point. I want this point. But Astro's like, no, the pillar's healthy enough. I win. Like, there's other finesse, too, as well, on top of that. Like, if you look at a stage like here, those two, each of them have 3 individual health. There's a 1 second delay between each hit before it can take another point of health. If you can keep track of that stuff, too, there's certain attacks and certain approaches that will just pierce right through that last health meter of those pillars. You can just plow right through it. Be like, alright, so it's weak enough. I'm going to go for the KO here. And it's going to work because my opponent's going to think they have enough time to dance around behind the pillar and be safe. There's actually a lot of visual display, too, along those pillars that you can figure out. A lot of people don't pay attention to that, though. A lot of people don't understand the finesse of those dash refreshes that we're seeing out of Pine as well, and it makes a big difference to be able to keep that momentum going. Nice catch there, will allow him to get some good damage. Still has a lot of work to go, as Astro continuing to whittle down at his health, sets him at KO range. This rush now can take Pine out. Pine with an excellent punish there.
Going to go in for his rush, landing it, getting a solid 300 damage. Both players on even ground now, about to be in critical. And that clip from the toaster will put Pine there first.
Astro just looking to keep this up. But that's going to be setting it in Pine's advantage. He's going in, he's going for face, but that means that it's easier for Pine to punish. To explain dash refresh for the people who at home who might not be aware of it, there are certain characters in this game, Kid Cobra, Ribbon Girl, Ninjara, so on and so forth. When they make a play in the air, you can dash, jump into the air, you can throw an air dash and you grab at the same time, and you'll keep your elevation enough that once your arms retract from going from that grab, if your attack is fast enough to retract, you can do another dash, and then you can kind of keep that chain going. Astro trying to go in for the retract counterplay this time. Pine is warming up to this matchup, and he's starting to call Astro out on his games, as he is holding on to this health lead by a solid chunk, and Astro struggling to find his way around. Trying to keep this tempo, trying to keep things rolling. Astro has the rush ready, Pine just about readied up with his own. We might see Astro try to throw his rush before he sees Pine get ready, because he's starting to get called out. Nice chance to throw the rush. He will get some damage, 125. Now it's Pineapple's game. It's his chance to try to shine. He's got to be able to survive Astro's barrage. Rush is now ready, trying to close in the distance. Another call out.
Grab.
Pine is now fully aware of when Astro is starting to expect these rushes, and he's punishing them. He's seeing these windows that nobody else is looking for, and he's calling Astro out on them as he takes another point, and it is 2-2. Pineapple now looking for one more win to advance to Grand Finals by taking out Astro Ninja. There's only one more bout. This can go either way. This is anybody's game.
Super impressive stuff from Pine, able to take back those 2 games when stuff was beginning to look down for him. That just goes to show how great of a player he really is.
But now he's taking on what's probably one of the hardest stages for him to work with. He no longer has the chance for that elevation advantage. We're going to the flat, standard, tried and true sparring ring. And I'm not expecting any changes from Astro. He's going to be sticking with those toasters. Maybe some different choices of arms to go in. I don't know if we're going to see Pine change things up, though.
Oh no, Astro's putting on a fun chuck on the left side.
And he's going to start off with a quick opening of the double punch, get some good damage in, and allows him a little bit of a chance to try to keep up against Pine. Punch-Up definitely a really solid contender against that light arm. That tall body really helps. That said, it makes it a bit easier for that clapback to pummel through if Pineapple is able to keep that shield rolling. Nice dodges will allow him to punish. That said, he still has a huge hill to climb as those punch-ups are doing a really solid job of just curving around that clapback body. Out comes the call out. Nice grab.
Nice call.
Pine is coming in with you fervor, keeping up this pace, staying so much more determined here. You could see that passion burning brightly. Nice call out here. It will be a safe block. Astro has a rush. He's not going to choose to throw it out just yet. Sees his chance here. It is going to be a solid connection. Gets that 275. Pineapple now on his last legs. Cannot get hit anymore. That punch-up just gave him too much damage at the start. Punished him out too many times, and now he is just wobbling through his way, just making sure that he doesn't get caught by anything. That hopper and clapback combo doing a good job, but only will hold out for so far. Astro now match point. Looking for one more win to be able to take this. I don't know if that clapback's going to hold out too much longer. He might want to switch back to the toasters because after that round, it started off really strong, but Pine was really quickly warming up to it throughout that bout. He might be able to warm up enough to be able to surprise Astro going through this next round. And if he sticks to it too much, this might just work out for him. Nice dodge, good counterplay, allows Pine to get a bit of damage. Not the amount that he was really hoping for, but this is still open to anybody. Definitely in Astro's favor though, as he gets 2 charged toasters. This round looking to go in his favor once again. Rush is just about ready. If he calls Pine's movement, this would be the KO, but no! No shield breaker either, but those arms are very weak. Those knees are heavy. Mom Spaghetti rolling in as Astro looking for just 1 or 2 more hits. Could be a Chakram grab confirmed. It could just be 2 charged hits. 2 uncharged ones will do just fine. As Pine is now on his last point of health, and Astro, still full on meter, will be able to take this and walk away 3-2. And now Pineapple definitely knows. Probably sparring ring he doesn't want to go to. It's probably not a good stage for him. Very impressive plays though from both players. Pine getting so close to bringing that back, but sparring ring. That's a sparring ring for you. That said, he is not out yet. That was our winner finals match. Pine will still be with us as we're going to be diving into our comeback finals now, where he will be dancing with his fellow friend, his fellow snake. Not always a snake, but still a fellow friend snake, Hara. But yeah, like there's still so much that a lot of people at the top level like to think that they have things figured out. I talk to a lot of people who are like, oh no, here's the answer, here's the solutions to this, here's how this works. Oh no, Coil's impossible to beat, she's busted this, that, this, and these. And it's like, no. No, people are just starting to dig their heels in more and more. And it's just getting to the point where it's like, people are, rather than recognize that they're leaning too far into loadouts and playstyles that just don't work in those matchups, they've decided that it's that Simpsons meme where he's like,
yeah.
Am I the problem? No, it's the children who are the problem. All of the children. It's not me. It's Coil that's the problem, not me and my loadout that's never worked. It's definitely Coil. I definitely don't need to change and make a new approach. Why would it ever be that? We will be heading into our next rematch. We had Steel versus Para just a few moments, a little while ago, we're gonna have Para coming in with his second rematch, Pineapple versus Para. And it's gonna be this pretty similar loadouts coming in here too. Light adjustment on Para's and putting away that roaster. He's got the tri-bolt, Pine going in, popper, clapback, and he is still burning with fiery fury. As you can see, he's just charging in against Para. He knows what he's looking for already, and he's hunting him down.
Pine with a good health advantage here. Both players with Rush on deck. Pine going to go for his. That clapback just going to follow through, and that popper just getting it at the end, knocking Pine into critical. I mean, knocking Para into critical. I'm sorry, I misspoke there. Para with a rush of his own, but all it's going to take from Pine is 1 or 2 more hits.
Yeah, he's just looking for a couple of choice calls. I think the grab would KO, but anything else would be those 2 hits. Para starting to make some ground of his own, though. That could have been the KO if he didn't have that tribal out. If he just trusted the heart of the Boomerang, it would have been the KO there. But he does see another chance as he deflects that clapback, dives right in. And this first round will be started out in Para's favor. Para gonna be sticking with his loadout. He made it work for a quick surprise point. Pineapple definitely not ready for that. It's so easy to forget how dangerous that tribal is. And how, like, generally most players, when they look at these 2 arms, they look at the tribal and the tri-blast, and they're like, well, I'm probably gonna go with the tri-blast because it has that explosion. One of the nice things about the tri-bolt, while the tri-blast overall is seen as better and generally has better stats to some degree, it doesn't have self-detonation, and it does have much more consistent grab setups. Just lends itself to being so much more effective, so much more dangerous. It does struggle a lot more against deflect, but fortunately for Para, we're not seeing any deflects here. We're seeing a hot snake with popper and clapback slithering by. Though, that timing just not going to work out for Pine nearly as well as that 1 KO he got before. And this is going to lead Para into holding a little more contention, still staying in the fight. Just looking to try to play the safe, focus on that rush generation.
Para about to have another rush momentarily with the slight health advantage. 20 seconds left on the clock. Pine now into critical, locked into that hot pocket. Para trying to lay on the pressure, going to go for the rush and get the KO, which will take game 1 in his favor.
Para starting this one off in the complete opposite story. Last one he was clean 3-0 swept by Pine. This time he's starting off with match advantage. And that's going to be a good start for Para. He definitely needs it against Pineapple. This still is anybody's game. This could go so many directions. And a lot of it will be determined based on where Pine wants to take us.
I don't anticipate a character change from anyone, and I think they're probably going to stick with their same arms as well. But yeah, stage is a big factor.
Indeed.
For these players.
Like, these players...
And that stage is going to be Mausoleum. Okay, sorry.
A lot of it, too, is like, these players have figured out their playstyles, their loadouts, and equipment a long time ago. Like, these have... Our top 3 right here are players who have been at the lab for months, for years. They've spent so much time and energy just labbing out, testing, experimenting against each other and just against others, just to see what works when, what works what, how, and why you use this in this situation. And that's why you see, like, the loadouts are pretty solid. They're pretty standard when you really look at it. Or when you look at it at a first glance, but when you really look into the details, like, you see why they have these loadouts, and then you'll see these, like, minute changes, like, one arm will be put away for one that does slightly different results. Like, none of these players... Something that you'll notice about, like, players below the top 3 and players above, like, there's a couple of exceptions. Squin definitely fits in more with the conversation I'm talking about with these top 3 players, but it's like, they have a starter's pack. And then from there, their pack will develop and grow. Like, Para has the tribal, he's got the boomerang, he's got the gloves, but then he'll slightly change things based on what he sees from his opponent. Pine has the popper, he has the clapback, he's got a ram, he's got a nade, he's got all of these different arms, he's got the mega wire. And he'll be like, this is better for this situation. I know my opponent here, so I'm going to use this. And if he doesn't necessarily have a good vibe on what his opponent's going for, most of these players do have a solid enough catch-all to begin with.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's really important to know your player matchups and the arm matchups and such. But Pine, at the very end, going to get that KO with that rush, securing him round 1.
And we are seeing one of those changes coming in here, as Pine going to be going in with the Birch Hug and Popper now, putting that clapback away. Maybe a little worried that that thing just not working out nearly as well. And we're going to be seeing a very different Snake now, as he is just so much more mobile, focusing on much more aggressive plays, as that Birch Hug will just be a huge obstacle that Par is constantly having to jump and dodge by. This is also going to lend itself to be much better at rush generation for Pineapple, as that medium weight arm is just constantly swinging out. It's going to be a solid flurry as well, which makes it just that much harder for Par to dodge. It's not going to get nearly as much damage, but just keeping up this pace, keeping up this tempo, and it might even land into some ice chains if he just gets that landing. Pine holding on to the lead right now. Para getting knocked into just 26% health. Pine still at above 50 and is quickly generating rush faster than Para can, just with this boxing and incredibly solid tempo. He's got it ready. Para just a little bit away from getting his own charge up. Para trying to just force Pine back. Sees his chance for the rush, but now it's Pine's turn to respond, and the two are going to trade.
Going to get counter rushed.
And that Birch Hug going to safely overwhelm Para, sets the score to 1 apiece. That's setting up a really good advantage. But it looks like, yeah, we're going to get a couple of changes going on. Birch Hug going back to the roaster, just like I was talking about. That's probably going to be a much steadier pick. He does have the clapback and popper that works well enough against the Ninjara in the grand scheme of things, and that roaster is still a solid pick in of itself. But I believe he's got that roaster there, and it, much like that Rammer was before, it's set up in anticipation of some of the other picks that Para might have. So he's swapping that third tool just so he has a bit better choices, bit better calls, in case he's going to be facing off against the Kid Cobra himself. Para going in.
Okay, we got the Ditto going on.
Yeah, we've got the Ditto going on. We've got the Hot Snake action rolling in. Para going in with a much more aggressive loadout and playstyle too. Has the double bobs, just looking to utilize that large body and heavy weight. Just maximize girth of value here to punch Pineapple down. double the hotness indeed. As Pineapple trying to get this roaster to connect this popper to land. But those two arms are just so good at boxing, so good at keeping pace that he cannot keep up right now. And Para just efficiently pummeling him down and currently holding onto a health lead as a result.
Pine trying to get those pokes in with the popper, but the Girth 5 bubs, they just make it so hard to get anything in, going for a grab, but missing it. Para with a pretty commanding health lead right now, both players this rush on deck. Pine with one hit left, and is going to get knocked down.
That is going to force a call from Pineapple, and it's probably a decent one too, as we see that clapback stepping back into the field. That's going to help a lot in contending with this boxing, just with the pressure that these bubs are throwing out. As Para will not be able to just safely overwhelm Pine. This will be a nice rush, gets a little bit of damage, 135. He's just looking to outbox at this point. Like, look at these safe trades that he can land. He can box out that popper, retract in time before the clapback comes out. He's just going to take light shield damage off of that and quickly back into rush generation game. And he's going to definitely have a much easier time generating that rush too. Like, look at that. He's already ready. He's already set. He's throwing out another play. But Pineapple is on top of game. Had that height advantage and is going to capitalize on it with the popper. Are going to quickly try to generate another round of rush before Pine even has the chance to throw his out yet. And Para is still holding this round very dominantly, even with that rush taken, previous rush taken away. This one will not work out nearly to his tune. Pine balances that score out, gets 320 damage on the rush. Now he's trying to utilize this height advantage to pressure. He's looking to pull down Para. He just needs a little bit more work. Has to respect this rush though, because any strong misplay can easily lead into a KO. That rush is more than capable of dealing 200 damage. Clapback just barely saving him from death.
10 seconds left on the clock. All Pine can take is one more hit, but Para is in critical too.
Look at the slides. That's gonna be too long though. Pine will not have the time, and it's gonna be a draw. You tell me there's somewhere more intense than what's going on right here, and you will not find something. This is it. We've got a draw between Pineapple and Para. The Bubs just could not carry out. He was looking to protect from that grab, but the clapback's additional damage will lead itself into giving Pineapple a chance to keep the fight rolling. Out comes this rush, punishing that grab attempt, gets 315 damage. Pineapple will be starting this round in favor. Para just looking to try to keep this pace. That's a good call out. That is an excellent rush. 245 damage. Where was that the last round? He needed that so much. But this round is still working out pretty well. Both players, again, very close, very even. Neither one really finding their way in. The Bub's doing a great job of just powering through these attacks, but also just getting walled out by the clapback at the same time. Here's another chance for the rush. That clapback's not going to be able to protect long enough. Another 225 damage. And back to Rush Generation City. He's going to bring out the shield. Safe call out here. Nice block. Landing with enough time. Not throwing out any punches. Gives him what the chance he needs. But Para with excellent pokes. Just jabbing away at all of Para's health there. And now below 25% health. Looking for a chance to throw out another rush. Pineapple going to be able to dodge out of the way. Again, clapback saving the day, keeping Pineapple just frames away from death, but not this time. It's gonna be Para landing the grab and setting up 2-1 advantage against Pineapple. Pineapple making such an impeccable turnabout, especially off of their last bout where it was just a clean sweep for Pine. And Para's like, no, now it matters. Now it matters. I don't want to lose now. It's fine to lose before, but now I have the download on you, I've got the toolkit, and I'm ready to take this. And he's gonna come in, double bump snake, just punching through his foe. He's looking for around the world. He's taken a Ninjara, he's gotten a Kid Cobra, he needs one more character. He needs one more character. Chat, who do you want to see him bring out to take the third one? He's got to be, it could be anybody. Chances are he's probably going to be sticking with Kid Cobra. That's what I would suspect.
Yeah.
But we could see Screamman. What if we saw a Screamman? What if we saw his brass? He is a good brass.
I would like to see a Springman, but that popper is just going to be devastating for the deflect.
Oh, yes. And it looks like he's making the safe call. He's making the safe choice here. We have him sticking with the KC. Just wants to take this. He does not want to give Pine the chance to bring things around. And Double Bubs is going to be a hard hill for Pineapple to climb. I feel like that popper needs to be switched over to another heavier arm. Maybe something like that roaster. Maybe a curve arm to kind of line up with that clapback, so he's got that wall, and then he's got something coming in from the side. That said, we do see a really nice opening, as the popper just reminds everybody why it is considered a high-tier arm, just slipping by each and every one of these bumps, even with them being so large, and I'm able to secure a light health lead off of that. But now it's Para's turn as he's starting to get those quick jabs, making some nice call-outs. Out comes this rush. Para gonna safely block it out. Sees himself a chance to rush, but the clapback is just a little bit faster than he is. And it's gonna be able to knock him down and keeps Pine at the lead. Clapback is such a difficult arm for a lot of players to fight back against. Especially when that rush comes out, you notice it has a lot of curve going into it. It's actually nerfed. It used to be able to do a full 180 on its turn, but now it only can do a 90-degree turn. So if you get behind your opponent, you can still at least punish them. But generally, it gets that little bit of setup, it gives you that warning, and then it comes in fast, and it has exceptional homing. So your best call is to go for the block, go for his defensive play, especially since it's so big that you have to have like some kind of super jump like Lollipop if you really want to be able to jump over it. And even then, it's not always going to work out. But it's one of those cases where it does take a long time for it to come out, so if you see it coming, if you anticipate it coming, there's a good chance you'll be able to block it. That will not be the case for Para there here, as he takes that 335 damage this round, quickly starting off in his favor. We are on match point though, and he needs to be able to turn this around, as Para's looking to be able to make a surprise knockout here and advance to face off against Astro. Nice 170 damage. Sets Para up with a little bit of tempo. Has that rush ready. You see him immediately go for it. But Pineapple is going to be able to pop him down. Make sure that that 200, 300 damage does not come his way. We'll keep him well and fighting into this bout. Another rush readying up. This will KO. You see Para is well aware of that, tries to respond, tries to go for the double punch punish, but unfortunately for him, it's just not going to work out as that clapback comes in immediately, returning and allowing him to keep this fight going.
Para with the rush of his own, ready to go.
If he
He's
gets
going to find the time to use it though. Shield.
Oh, that's not
disarm.
going to be the chance.
Not going to be able to use it.
And surprisingly, this is the... No, there was a second time we saw this, but this is... We haven't seen the center platform from Mausoleum too often here. That thing is a very difficult thing for people to work with. as it is an open trampoline, an open field platform. You cannot stand on that. If you go over it, you're bouncing on a little springboard, which can give you some really good air and allow you to leap over punishes, leap over some setups and plays, but it also means you can't bring out that shield, so you have to be on top of your play. You have to be making excellent calls and actions. This clapback definitely lends itself to helping Pineapple make those plays, make those choices, as he gets a serious lead against Kara. But it's going to be taken away as another solid rush from him comes out. And you saw right there, just the way Pineapple was set up, he was stuck on the ground. There was nothing he could do to get out of there because of the way that trampoline works. Want to see that thing break open? Basically, you just have to get a knockdown to happen twice on that center platform. You see the very clear definition of that circle too, so it communicates pretty well what you're looking for when you're looking for to knock it out. You just knock somebody down on the floor there twice, and you get yourself a nice big mausoleum trampoline. Trying to play this safe. That is an easy rush to eat.
And that's going to bring it back.
2-2 now. Whoever takes this will be advancing to face off against Astro Ninja in the grand finals. Both players are neck and neck. This can go either way. This is incredibly close. But now it's Para's choice, his ability to pick where we're going. And chances are he's gonna be picking somewhere that's not Mausoleum, that's not Sparring Ring. It looks like we're going to be going to DNA Lab for this final bout. I can see what he's going for here. Especially with Bubs, that Popper and Clapback might have a little bit more of a difficult time just like finding their way through those tubes. Where the Bubs might be able to just come out a little more quickly, a little more efficiently. Might give him the space he needs, and it is a huge stage, so there's just going to be plenty of room for Para, and we are going to be seeing the Springman!
Ooh!
The Springman that took Pega down. Wait, no, he used Min-Min. The Springman that has been known to box the nation and force everyone to bow before him is stepping in. Para will be going in Nade Boomerang. A similar style to the default loadout, but looking for something with a little more blast. Pine will be going in Popper, Clapback, continuing to make this work. This is going to be a very difficult one for Para because, like you said, the deflect can help out a lot, but it's going to it can easily be punished by that Hopper, just those multi-shots and spread, and especially with Para having to be locked into a lot of his motions as well because of those reflects, it can mean that he just doesn't have the timing to be able to get those deflects rolling. He does start off strong though with a 360 rush. And is keeping Pine back. He is holding onto this lead. And Pine trying to find his way in. A nice attempt with the grab, but these tubes are just getting in the way. Nice call out. Nice movement with that rush. He does get a reset, so doesn't get the full damage off. But he does get a decent amount and helps him get a little bit more ground against Para, which he definitely needs right now. As Para is quickly generating another rush. You know he's looking for a chance to bring it out. Nice punish there. Seeing that jump in the air. He's going to go for the block this time. Respecting this rush. Just knows that if Para was able to get that whole thing to connect, it would have been that point for him. Couple of more nice pokes. Para trying to keep in, close in that distance. He's got that enrage. He's got that bonus strength. But it's going to be the rush taking Para down. Pine turning this around, and now match point. He's looking for one more win to get the rematch against Astro Ninja. Para has to be able to turn this here. He has to be able to take these next 2 rounds to be able to take Pine out and advance to Grand Finals. Question is, yes, that. Will Para be able to push it to final round? Will he be able to take the chance to take Pineapple down? Starting things off, this round is working out well for him.
That clapback, ooh.
Gets 160 damage. That boomerang just such an effective anti-air with that tall pillar just sweeping Pineapple off his feet. Doesn't get to line up the nade as well, but 160 damage off the boomerang alone is definitely something to be happy with.
Pine about to have a rush of his own, moving in with that pressure.
Look at
trying to catch him.
Finesse that Para is bringing out as he is keeping himself even backed up against a wall, giving himself so many options and time to respond, and Pineapple just unable to give him any kind of pressure or call. One of our last pillars will be falling down. The rush will cleanly come in. 315 damage. This is still Para's lead right now, and he's going to be able to reassert it with a nice 150 on that grab. Pineapple now just a couple of hits away from falling. Para parrying and boxing down these hits. Nice explosion. You can see he's trying to time things out now. Nice tempo with this pace, and just 5 seconds left. There's nothing Pineapple can do. He's not even going to let him take the grab as he punishes it out. And now, final round. Whoever takes this will be facing off against Astro. Starting things off, Para has the rush advantage. He has that lead. He sees the chance. He's not gonna have it though.
He's gonna get punished.
Pineapple punishes with the popper, just sneaking through that power, and he's gonna be able to successfully connect 305 damage. This round is starting off very much in Pineapple's favor. Gives him the room to be able to keep his space. Doesn't have to chase after Para nearly as much as he was that previous bout. He's going to be able to deepen this lead. Another charged popper that just takes so long to properly fully connect. And Para punching himself in the face. He is down to his last bit of health. There is nothing he can work with here. Has to be making these plays. The popper almost steals his fate, but he's able to punch through. Has to respect the fact that Pineapple can now just go for the nade.
But that clapback going to that clapback rush.
And through the fires and flames, we see our victor. Kid Cobra will sear his way through Para and lead Pineapple to his rematch against Astro. Excellent plays from both players. A fantastic bout to be had. Definitely within our top three has definitely been like some of the most intense things going on. I don't think we've seen anything like this in ARMS for a very long time. Not even not since the seasons have started. Like maybe season 1 or 2 or something on this line. But like season 3, nah. Anything in season 4 up to this point, nah. Easy, nah. This is it. Pineapple and Astro, Para, all of the players, like our top of the food chain. Usually it's always been like the semifinals or the lower semifinals are our top matches. No, we got to see like this is the cream of the crop. If you say who are the top 3 players of ARMS definitively in NA, it is obviously these 3. Like, you can't even argue with me. You just look at this right here, and it's like, oh yeah, no. They dunked everybody, and they're all like 3-2 against each other.
Yeah, this has been quite a day.
And with that, we will be heading in. Looks like we've got Astro in here. We've got Pine ready. We're just looking for that final stage, and we can begin our grand final match. Pineapple wasn't at the Open. I think he was at the first Open, but not the second one.
Yeah, he wasn't at the second.
Otherwise,
I think he said he had work or something.
Otherwise, that Open probably would have been rivaling this. I think the first one rivals this pretty well, but it's still, aside from that moment, still, I feel like this is just like, for competitive arms, like this top 3 defines what top 3 is so much more. Like seeing how Par was able to play Springman, seeing Pineapple's Kid Cobra, seeing Para's Kid Cobra, seeing Astro's Dr. Coil, like, these are like, this is serious stuff. And we're gonna see how serious it gets as Pineapple will be taking on Astro Ninja. Grand Finals. Pineapple at disadvantage. If Astro can take this with the 3 sets, he will claim the match. The tournament ends. Pineapple will have to get those 3 sets, bring a bracket reset, and bring things all the way back. Oh,
Ooh.
Astro did the things. He did the communication thing that makes it hard for me to understand what's going on, and that made me make the bad decision. Alright, let's get... So it looks like it was Mazo. So apologies on that. We'll just switch that back. Just like communication issues. Free 6 coins. Bam! Because these are the players that need it the most. This is just like capitalism. All the coins go to the people who need it the least. Like, you look at my pool, you look at Pine or Astro's pool, and you're like, could you just, like, spare 10 of those? So I could have, like, maybe 2 new arms to work with. And it's like, nah, I'm gonna just sit on my pile. There's nothing I can do with my pile, but I'm just gonna sit on it. Alright, let's go.
Alright.
Now we're beginning the true grand final bout. Astro versus Pineapplefreak. We're starting off quick and fierce as these two quickly going back and forth, dishing and diving out damage. Starting out, Pine's advantage, safely blocking out this rush. Astro unable to secure any damage there. And I'm going to be able to respond 225 damage. He's got a good lead on going onto this round where the sparring ring was so much against him. Just having the free movement that Mausoleum offers is just working out so much more favorably. You could also see...
And he also can't be cornered.
Yeah, he banned sparring this time. He was like, yeah, no, it wasn't working out. Let's not have that go here. Let's take somewhere different, and this has definitely been working out well for him. That clapback just continuing to be a pest, especially now that there's a little bit more space. It's a little bit harder for Astro to close in that distance and really do what he was doing at sparring ring. A few seconds left on the clock. Pine just wants to hold on to that rush here, but it's giving Astro a chance to generate his own rush. Might give him a chance to be able to get the KO. Pine recognizing that he does cost him, as Astro now has a much stronger rush lead going forward. But he does get that first point. He gets that little bit of control and gets that first bit of tempo that can potentially lead him to claiming this first point. Astro just trying to feel him out, looking for a way in, weaken that arm now that he sees it's nice and vulnerable. But Pine safely just making some patient plays, way out, recognizes that he needs to hold out on that shield, gets his recovery back, but he does take a rush in exchange. 250 does set Astro with this round's lead. And now Pine having to come up from the back heel, trying to find some way to set this back in his advantage. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be too possible here, especially like once Astro gets a lead, it is so difficult to take things back. Nice call out with this rush. It will work this time. Gets 275 damage. Managing to get pretty close, but Astro does have a rush ready. And if he just sees a good moment to throw it out, Pine will be punished, and he will lose a significant amount of health because of it. Nice dodge, though. Will allow him to
he's gonna shield it.
slip right by. That's only going to be some light chip damage. 25 seconds left on the clock. Pineapple will get one more rush. Astro might be able to get a third rush ready in this time. But especially with this patient play, as long as he's trying to feel things out, still looking for a chance where he can really just get that opportunity. Still trying to fish. Pine sees his chance, and he's going to be able to successfully connect. 335, that is more than enough. There is nothing Astro can do. Pineapple going to be able to start this match off in advantage. Incredible start there. We do have our stages banned. I feel like he needs to focus more on banning sparring. We're not going there yet, though. Which is definitely a nice thing for him. Because I think it's sparring ring that's just the worst stage for him. Maybe the two stages that he's banned otherwise could lend themselves to not working out as well. And I can understand and respect those. Astro's not taking us to sparring ring, though, which might lend itself to be a chance for Pine to be able to win this.
Looks like they're going to DNA lab.
Last time
and yeah, this could work out in Pine's favor. Like you said, last time this did.
And we'll have to see if this time will be a similar case. Astro going even further into boxing. He saw what Pyro was doing. He likes his style. He likes his jib. As he's going in with the double bubs, looking to just straight out overpower and overwhelm that clapback and that popper by just sheer attitude and strength. This will also just be easy rush generation. Then Astro can just go in for the chase, try to go for a KO. Or just like generate more lead. He's already got the lead, so you can see he's focusing more on just punching everything Pine has thrown out. And just keeping pace. Because as long as he's keeping distance, as long as he's keeping this 1-2 pattern, clapback doesn't really do much on the reflect, and then the popper can't connect because there's just bubs in the way.
Yeah.
You and your bubs just keeping the foe away so you can get an easy win. Yeah, you can see he's using the rush more as a focus to try to keep Pine away. He's going in very hard on the defense right now, just utilizing the stage very effectively just to make sure that Pine literally has no options to be able to try to fight back. He's not even going for grabs. He knows how safe this option is. He understands what his tactic is right now, and he is exceptionally playing it as Pine can just not keep up, and he's constantly getting burned down. I think Astro is looking for the perfect right now. One final hit will give him that perfect. Definitely a really good call, just recognizing, maybe seeing what Pyro was doing beforehand and recognizing just how dominant this is, how oppressive it can be for Pineapple to try to respond to, and especially when it's on Dr. Coil, it's just that much more difficult.
Pineapple going for the rush, but it's shielded. These double bubs just proving to be so much pressure, so much to get around. Astro with the rush of his own.
Oh, the clapback protected so much!
Getting a 195.
Pine's starting to find his way in a little more efficiently now. It worked out because of those tubes, because of those pillars, and forced Pine to have to stay back. But now most of those pillars are gone. We've only got one full health tube left, and it's already taken its first bit of damage. Astro just cannot dance around like he was before. He has to be a little more proactive, and Pine is doing his best to take advantage of that. Astro playing this really patiently too, starting to be a little more aggressive though. He does not want to lose this ground, but because of this too, Pine is starting to see his chances. He's starting, now that that room is there, now that he cannot hide behind those pillars, this is working out super well for Pineapple. Safely dodging back, only taking 110 damage. And now Astro just looking for a little punch. Any damage will put him in the lead. Pine is looking to try to prevent that, time him out, but there's the damage. This is now Astro's. He's going away, he's running back, and Pineapple will chase, falling prey to his wily tactics. And one apiece is made for these two players as Astro takes the set. I like how both of these players have very not serious and hardcore names. Like, it's not Astro Ninja versus Pineapplefreak going in the names. Like they're not even talking about their names in general, but like, Astro's tag is Brugod right now, and Pineapple's is Pine's Bad. It's like, alright, cool. Great names, everyone! Like, we got Brugod and Pine's Bad duking it out for the championship belts. Oh yeah, no, she does not like snakes, and seeing how this matchup is one of the few that's actually like potentially even, if maybe like a 55-45 in Kid Cobra's favor, you can understand why. Heading into this mausoleum yet again. This is going to be a much easier place for Prime to get this chase going. Now that there's that open field is just gone. Now that those tubes are not there, we're immediately seeing, especially now that Astro just doesn't have the chance to really swing all the way across the field over and over. It's gonna mean there's a lot more chances for Pine to get these punishes in. That also said, it does mean that it's a little bit easier for Astro just to find his own punches over these clapbacks, and you're seeing a lot of them already coming in as this first round is leaning favorably towards Astro. Both players just looking for the rush chance. Astro unable to retract in time. He will take some deep damage. Not enough to put him at disadvantage, and especially with that extra buff catching Pineapple just moments afterwards. But it does give Pine a little bit more contention, a little bit more room, and a chance to be able to grab this ground. He's got to be careful though, because Astro still has that rush ready, and he's not far behind him at all. In fact, he's got that little bit of a lead. He's got that little bit of control, and just continue to play this patiently. You can see Pine really just racking his brain, trying to figure things out. You know this brain is getting very wrinkly right now, as all of these calculations going into Pine's head, just being like, what's going on? What am I needing to do here? What should I do to take this? And Astro's brain just wrinkling even more in response, being like, oh, so you're gonna do that, hey? Well, I'm gonna do this. And you saw that really nice rush exchange where Astro just recognized the delay it takes for that clapback to come out is going to take so long that if Pine is moving away from it, his rush will safely connect, and it gives him plenty enough of a lead to be able to take that first round point.
The adaptation from both of these players against each other is just next level, which I'd expect, seeing as they're the best in the NA region, but still, it's just amazing to see in practice.
Indeed. Nice rush attempt. Pine gonna be able to safely avoid it, preventing himself from taking any serious damage. Nice call out with this rush, but Bub is so safe. It retracts so much more quickly than what you saw from, like, what you saw beforehand. Like, Pineapple, like, the toaster comes back pretty quickly, but it's like nothing compared to the Bub, where it's just like, you see the blink of an eye, the toaster's back, you can't even blink and the Bub's already back and coming out at you again.
Yeah, it makes for an amazing boxing arm, especially with the size of it. Pine going to go for his rush. Astro can block it and gets the punish. And he has a rush of his own. Is he even going to need to use it though? It looks like he's trying to finish him off without it. 7 seconds left, not much Pine can do, and Astro will take that game, giving him 2-1 advantage.
Indeed.
Thought you'd win, huh?
Power now, or Astro now looking for one more set win to be able to close out this tournament, to close out this event, and become this season's champion. Carrying on from some of the other ones. I know he's taken at least the last one. I'm not sure if the second or the first, but I would also go as far as to say that he is rolling with quite the streak. And this might be him setting himself up for one more win and one more fancy little belt to put into his hands. Pineapple will be taking us to Valladolid. This could be a really good stage for him, as it means that Astro has so much less movement, so much little less room. But if Astro can keep Pineapple backed against the wall, that is just, all that movement is going to be in his favor, and it's going to be that much more difficult for Pineapple to turn things around.
Astro already ready with a rush. Going to let it go. The clapback going to save him, and Pine gets that popper poke in. Gets the grab. Nice call. Putting them dead even. Pine with a rush of his own. Going straight for it, not taking any chances. Astro trying to counter it, but getting punished.
This round looking out like this stage is working out pretty well for Pineapple as Astro is backed up against the wall. Out comes this rush. Pineapple not able to dodge in time. 195 damage. But even that said, Pine is still holding on to this lead, holding on to this pressure, especially now that Astro doesn't have rush. He's pushing him back against the wall, just looking to poke him out. And if he gets just a couple more trades, this will be his, as Astro would need that full rush and a good trade on top to really be able to set things back. Nice rush will allow him to get that chance. Pine knocked into critical. We have 10 seconds left on the clock. This is an easy rush chance. Gets that chip damage. That does set him at the lead, especially with that extra popper. And Astro unable to respond in time will give Pine a point. Alright, heading back in here. We got this. This is Pine's chance to bring this to 2-2 to set himself up for a potential bracket reset. Astro switching over to the Scully. That thing is going to be so much more dastardly, so sneaky at slipping between those clapbacks, those retractions, just because of that lightning fast speed. That said, it can be a little bit easier for that popper to punish and poke down.
Astro letting out his rush, getting it point blank, landing a solid 250 damage. So far, he's yet to be hit. And Pine about to have a rush of his own. Going for the grab. Nice call, nice read.
Excellent setup, good pressure. Nice catch with the popper. He's starting to get some tempo, but the Scully is just so fast. It's getting so difficult for him to punish this, as these are just like two completely different timings. Like, look how fast the Bub and Scully are compared to each other. Where the Bub is just like that slow slithering snail, the giant body, and the Scully, it's just zip zooming. It's a little scooter, just chasing after Pine's face and looking to get some nice launches. Out comes this rush. It will be a safe block. There's 15 seconds left on the clock, and there's not going to be anything to work with.
Dynamite! Dynamite!
Alright, round 3, potentially match point unless Pine can bring this back. So far, Astro getting those 1-2s in.
Ooh, nice
Pine
start.
nice with the grab. And he has a rush of his own, going to go straight for it.
Does
Going to
get
land
some good
and then
damage.
75.
Definitely has showcased that he's warmed up a little bit more, and a lot of it too in these exchanges. Like, there's a lot that can happen in the later ends, but it really is that opening. It's how these players are starting out that really sets this tempo. I've talked about it before in previous matches. It's like, whoever gets the lead here generally is going to be in a position where they can kind of control it, because their opponent their hand is forced and they're pressured more to have to be more proactive, and both of these players have loadouts that are so good at not being proactive. Not saying they can't be, as we've clearly seen and been demonstrated, but just being able to be the one pushing, or the one pushing the opponent back, rather than having to be the one that's defending is so rewarding and super efficient. Astro has the rush ready. If he gets this rush to land, this will be it. That grab will make it even more likely. Pineapple has to get a single hit in. He can't get grabbed. He almost gets caught, but he's going to slide by. A successful block. Astro now has the health lead. Pineapple has to go in for the chase. And it's a draw. That is not a lead. That is a draw. We are still in this. Both players are still on at this final point. If Astro takes this, this will be the tournament. Pineapple will be able to bring the score to 2-2 if he's successful in taking Astro down. It is still a huge hill to climb, but a good opening like this will give him the chance to take that journey, take that path. Astro's ready with the rush. He's looking for his chance. He's throwing out these punches, still trying to force Pineapple into a risky position. Somewhere that's a little more scrumptious, a little more delicious in this damage. He just has to find this point. Pineapple patiently playing this out, constantly just popper after popper. Clapback is out. Almost lands the grab, but Astro just keeping up that flurry, had that high ground. It was bound to stop him eventually. And as close as that was, just did not work out. Out comes this rush. It'll be a safe block. Astro gonna try to go for the punish. Ends up getting chipped down as a result. Pine still just barely holding on to the lead here. But it's not much, and all it takes is one good play for Astro to be able to set himself back in the lead, back in contention. Another solid block from Pine will keep himself alive, keep himself in this lead. That is a nice window for Astro to pin him back. And he's going to take it, trying to close this distance, but that lead is only being deepened. Pine will be the first ready with rush. You know he's just going to throw it out. And Astro's forced to contend. And as such, score brought to 2-2. And now looking for one more win for Pineapple to be able to lead the bracket reset. Again, Astro just looking for one more point to close out the tournament. And it looks like we're going to be going to DNA Lab yet again. We've seen both ways now. We've seen this work for Pine, and we've seen it work for Astro. Right now, it's definitely in Astro's contention. It's in his control. He's got those bubs. He just has to push Pine back. He just has to keep this steady pummeling rolling. Utilize what he saw from Para to be able to take Pine down. And he's going to be starting off with good advantage too. We've got all 6 pillars up. Pineapple, recognizing how much of a nuisance those things are, he's already focused on the pillar. If he sees Astro hiding behind one of those two, he's already trying to punch it down. He's like, I'm not even going to stress about it. I'm not going to try to dance around. I'm just going to burn them down, get the damage when I can. But this round is all about destroying those defenses.
Astro letting his rush out, getting a solid 265, cementing his lead. But Pine about to have a rush of his own, going in with that pressure, Astro trying to evade. So Pine getting 220.
Nice amount of damage. This is still Astro's lead. We still have those 4 pillars alive. And there's going to be a lot of protection, a lot of coverage for him. One more poke. One solid double knockdown off of those bugs. Nice setup with the clapback will allow him. But this rush will put him back in health deficit. Disadvantage. Pine does have a rush that could potentially KO, especially if he gets the popper confirm off of Astro. We have yet to see that in this bracket yet, but it could be just coming up right away. Nice read here though, but again, Bub's so fast. It recovers super fast. 13 seconds left on the clock. Nice call attempt, but unfortunately Astro saw it coming. We are now tournament points. Three of the pillars still remain. Astro definitely making a much smarter call, much more safer one, just barely getting by, but he's got those defensive options to hide behind this time, which means that this round might be in his favor still.
Pine going to safely shield Astro's rush, about to have a rush of his own. Astro still with a slight health advantage, but Pine moving in, going for the grab bait. But Astro knows what's up and is going to be able to safely block it. A choice popper poke knocks him out of the air, giving time for Pine to block his rush, anticipating what was coming.
And he's going to be able to kind of keep this tempo rolling, staying fully aware of everything Pine is doing. Like, you see Pineapple's using all of his movement options. He's got his dashes rolling. He's getting that clapback set up. He's trying to use it as a way to bait Astro into punching into it, maybe making some kind of misplay off of that. He's trying to jump over these when and where he can, but Astro is just staying patient and aware. This time, the clapback is going to protect enough, and does get 285 damage. That sets him at the lead. 23 seconds left on the clock though. Astro is going to start coming in a little bit more aggressively, trying to fish a little bit harder for any kind of pressure, any kind of damage. That is now Astro's lead. Pineapple has to be the responder. Gets the balance back and sets up the lead.
Knocks him into critical.
Out comes this rush, and that is it!
That's going to
That's
do
the
it.
tournament. Pineapple staying just too close on those final seconds, determined to find a counterplay, a punish response, and unable to source it out. It's going to be Astro landing his full rush, just taking enough damage from Pine. And it will be Astro Ninja winning the tournament 3-2. Congratulations to both players. Excellent plays from both. And with that, that ends our tournaments.
Amazing games all around. Thanks for all of the players for participating, and it was a pleasure to commentate alongside you, Mileve.
It was very fun, very good. Yes. And with that, yeah, congratulations to our top players. Thank you all so much for watching. It means a lot that y'all drop by and watch. Thank you, Mario, for painting out and making noises with the mouthpieces with me.
My pleasure.
Where did the payout button go now? I had the payout button and now I've lost it. Why? Actions. Pay out the prize pool. I can terminate the tournament! Done. Finalized. No additional action can be done. The players have got their money. Congratulations to everybody. Tune in 3 days to 4 days. 3 to 4 days. Tune in a little while. Starting September, we will be beginning the Season 5 of the ARMS NA Online. Once again, let's go through those sponsors. Let's give a shout out to those people that have helped us out beforehand. So huge shout outs to Team IluZ for donating $50 to this tournament prize pool. Check out their cool shirts. They've got streetwear out available now. You can order, buy it, show off your clothing, and be cool like that guy right there. There are also multiple colors, various designs that you can see right there. Look at how fabulous, look at how beautiful this man is. You want to be him, unless you're a girl, or other genders, or identities. You want to be your identity, but looking cool in this sweater. Coming back, we do have the Scrapstar series as well. We've got one more tournament beyond. Coming up, just this upcoming Monday, we'll have a Snake Park tournament, a Scrapstar special coming in. For anybody who likes Snake Park, wants to see some dancing on some fancy snake boards, you can definitely check things out there. But beyond that, we will be back to the Scrapstar series, double elimination brackets on Battlefly. If enough participants are there as well, you can also get XP and get some fancy little costumes, avatar stuff specifically for Battlefly. Do check it out. We've got brackets for NA and EU. If you're looking for ARMS events beyond as well, we also have Network Era running many weekly events, not just on Sundays. I do believe word is out on the street that she is looking to make a new graphic, and you can definitely keep an eye out for that. We'll probably be showing it off as soon as it is available. But until then, join her Discord, stick around with the community, hang out, fun will be had, coolness will be timed. Definitely go be a part of it. And of course, we do have the bi-weekly procrastination, the elder of the ARMS tournaments going on these days. Has been around the longest while and usually takes the longest to go through, but that's okay because it's got a good flexible schedule just for you. You just check them out in their Discord community, follow them on Twitter, and you'll get updated on those tournaments. Runs every other week, and each tournament lasts about a week. You might be wondering how would that work? Why don't you just check them out and see? You might be in for a treat. As well as that, we do have the Steel Trap. If you're looking for best of 5 brackets, Steel Trap is the place to go as they start their top best of 5 bouts on top 8, where most other brackets do have the usually it's just top 4, top 3 specifically. Steel Trap does it elsewhere and beyond, so definitely check them out. Cool tournaments run by Steelhead, cool person, yes. And of course, huge shout outs to our $200 donation to this season, Jor Games. This pool wouldn't be very big if it wasn't for him, so it is deeply appreciated that he made his effort, put his money in, and really gave these players something to fight for. He runs his own tournaments as well with prize money. Runs similarly to the Mega League Monday style from back in the day. If you don't know how that runs, definitely recommend checking him out, seeing what that looks like, because it is not your standard double elimination bracket. And of course, this is streamed on Planet Scrapstar. Not everything will be, but a lot of the ARMS tournament series are and will be. If you like this stream, consider subscribing, consider following, helps me out, helps me do more things. Follow me, subscribbles, all the stuffs. Makes a big difference. Means I can do more and so on and so forth. Yes. And with that, we are all done, finished, ready. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. let's go say hello to one of our Scrapstar friends. Is George still streaming?
Ooh.
George is still
Is he?
streaming. Everybody,
Hey.
he gave $200 to this tournament, so the least we could do is go give him a hello, give him some hugs, and cancel him.
Let's do it.
So that's the channel that we're gonna be checking out. I'll start up a raid right away. The battle cry will be canceled. You can this is the emote I'll be using, but you're welcome to use whatever emotes you want. Just make sure that they are not inappropriate or bad or naughty. Something fun. Anyways, with that all said and done, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Ciao! Mario, say something.
Bye. Bye. I thought you already stopped.